Welcome back to Lowell Park. The Cotuit Kettleers have a nice little homestand coming up, 3 home games in 4, including matchups against only 2 teams they haven't faced this season, Bourne and Falmouth. But first, it's a matchup against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who are currently last in the league. Cotuit beat them in their 3rd game of the season handily, and now it's the first match of the season at Lowell Park. My name is Josh Rothstein. I'm joined by Caleb Kaufman. Cotuit's coming off of a pair of weekend games against Wareham. They got 1 win here, fell at Wareham yesterday, Caleb.
Yeah, so at Wareham yesterday, Jackson Wolf was lights out in his 2nd consecutive strong start, going over 5 innings. He threw 5 innings pitched with giving up 0 runs, striking out 4, and also not allowing a single walk in the game, bringing his ERA down to 2.45 on the season with a 15-3 balls to walks ratio. And then Matt Mervis came in, was also great, finishing off the game only using 2 pitchers, going 3 innings, giving up 2 hits and 1 run. He ended up being a tough luck loser yesterday with that 1 run, as the Kettleers were unable to push across a run with another struggle from the plate, which was the complete opposite of the first Wareham game of the weekend where we played here. We hit 13 and put up an 11 spot on the Gateman, so a big difference in the 2 games. But after splitting the weekend series, we caught up with Coach Roberts to get his thoughts on how the team's playing and where they want to go looking forward.
After last game versus Orleans, Coach, that was the last time I talked to you, it was a tough day defensively, a lot sharper today. Was that something you practiced since Friday?
We have practiced it, yes, we did. And we had a 3-hour practice yesterday. So we worked on our defense, and we're going to get better and better, in that. And the thing that I'm asking the players to do, we got to be there every pitch, okay? We got to be there every pitch, and tonight we weren't there every pitch. And we want games to be 0-0. We want to see who the best team is in the league, and tonight it was Wareham, but we'll get better in regards to being there every pitch.
Jackson Wolf, 5 innings pitched, 4 Ks, really sharp on the mound. What did you think of him?
Well, I just thought he had another beautiful outing. I'm very pleased with his competitiveness, the way he handles himself on the mound, maturity-wise, and his pitch selection, and Cody did a good job with him. They're the best hitting team in the league. They're at number 1, and I thought he did an outstanding job.
2 hits versus their pitching today. Do you credit the opposing pitching staff, or was it something that you didn't see out of your guys at the plate?
I credit them always. They threw the ball really well. In regards to us, our swings are still too long by a lot of people, and we got to cut them down.
Meanwhile, Hyannis is coming off a 4-2 victory over Bourne yesterday in a rain makeup game. Since starting 0-8-1 on the season, a terrible start, they've picked up their pace in the most recent 6 games. They're 3-3 in their last 6, looking to climb back in to the Western Division playoff picture. In that win yesterday, Lucas Dunn, a sophomore at Louisville, and Hunter Goodman, a sophomore at Memphis, both chipped in with big hits, including Goodman's go-ahead 2 RBI single that put Hyannis ahead for good. Offensively overall, they are led by Jared DeSantillo and Nick Lofton, who are both hitting over 300, and the only 2 players on Hyannis who have at least 10 hits on the season. The projected starter out of Fordham, a junior, is Joseph Quintal. He's appeared in 3 games this season. 2 of the starts were good. He gave up 0 runs in both of them, or 0 runs and 1 run rather, but in that middle start he did give up 6 earned runs in 3 innings, so he's been a little hit or miss so far this season. Hyannis is hoping he's on his game today. But overall, it's been a bit of a struggle for Hyannis this season. They do have the lowest team batting average in the league, just by 1 point. Harwich is just 1 point ahead of them. Hyannis sitting 214 to Harwich is 215, but it's really been on the mound where they've struggled. Their ERA is more than 2 runs greater than the next lowest team. It's over 6.5, so on the mound is where they've been struggling, and the defense has not been helping Hyannis out. They've actually accumulated the most errors in the league, 6 more than the next highest team, which is Cotuit. So if Hyannis wants to keep this decent streak going, try and get back into the Western Division playoff picture, it'll be important for them to pitch well and play good on defense so they can get back into the picture and keep on going on this streak after they're going to have to try and rebound from that terrible start. So first pitch is right around the corner. Sam Niederman and Aram Layton will have their thoughts pregame, along with Mike Roberts' thoughts pregame.
Happy Monday and welcome to Lowell Park. Aram Layton alongside my partner Sam Niederman. Hope you had a great weekend. This is a makeup game between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Yesterday, the Kettleers dropped a tough 1-0 game. They only picked up 3 hits in a pitcher's duel. Sam, what surprised you about that ball game? Obviously, one of the fastest games we've seen this season, the fastest game we've seen this season, and Coach Roberts will talk about it a little bit in the interview we'll play shortly. What kind of stifled the Kettleers offense in that ball game?
Well, it was just really good pitching on both sides. A tough result for the Kettleers, but nothing to be ashamed of. Mike Roberts told us that in our little pregame chat. And I think that we had maybe the fastest game I've personally seen, an hour and 56 minutes. We were going at softball speed of light. 5 different innings in which the Kettleers went down 1, 2, 3. It's like a 3-and-out in football, right? Just unproductive, weren't able to get the leadoff batter on, and just didn't work deep into counts. It's not like they were having terrible at-bats by any means, but Ian Bedell, the starter for Wareham, changed the pace of the game. He was in rhythm from the get-go and kept Cotuit off balance. The Kettleers were just never able to establish anything offensively, and despite getting great pitching, they weren't able to get a result, Cotuit. But you bounce back. That's the beauty of this game. You get another one. This is the beginning of a big West Division festival. Lots of Western Division opponents this week. And a 2-game homestand. So you got to like your chances if you're the Kettleers today against Hyannis.
You mentioned the great pitching. Jackson Wolf went 5 strong shutout innings yesterday in what ended up being a losing effort. Going into today, Cotuit comes into the ballgame 7-7-2, second place in the West Division. Hyannis 3-11-1, of course, in last place, but coming off of a win against Bourne 4-2. They've come around a little bit in their last 6 ball games. They're 3-3 after starting 0-8-1. So a little bit of a turnaround from Hyannis. It's obviously not going to be the cupcake that it was when Cotuit beat down Hyannis here at Lowell Park 11-0. What do you expect today going into this game? Obviously, Hyannis has looked a little bit better, and Cotuit's sliding a little bit. What do you expect from Cotuit now trying to bounce back after a tough loss to Wareham?
I expect Cotuit to try and get the tone set on the mound, and that begins with Zach McCambly. Can he follow up Jackson Wolf's performance? We talked a little bit about it last night. All right, it looks like Jackson Wolf is the ace of this Kettler staff. Who's the number 2? Zach McCambly has gone 2 starts so far this season. One of them pretty good in his opener against Brewster. The other one a little abbreviated in the doubleheader against Brewster last weekend. I think he features some good stuff, and if they could get him to throw first pitch strikes with his fastball and allow his breaking pitches, particularly his slider, to get into the play, I think that Kettleers are going to have a good little number 2 in Zach McCambly. So they need him to pitch well today, and I think you also get back to basics in this lineup. There are a couple of guys that have been slumping as of late. I look to Parker Chavers, his Coastal Carolina teammate. We need the Chanticleers this afternoon. Chavers a little cold, given his hot start. I think he gets back into the swing of things today. You need that middle of the order to really bulk up and produce to drive in runs.
Of course, this is the Patriot Cup between Cotuit and Hyannis. Cotuit has had the best of the cup so far, winning 7 of the last 8 Patriot Cups and a good chance to get way ahead, starting 2-0 against Hyannis on this season. Of course, they won big 11-3 did Cotuit 2 games ago against Wareham, ending up dropping, of course, yesterday's game 1-0. Hyannis comes into today's ball game last in ERA, batting average, fielding percentage, and the worst run differential in the league. Is that something you could see staying that way for Hyannis, or do you think they're starting to turn it around, as we mentioned, 3-3 in their last 6 games?
You know, Hyannis has had a rough go of it over the past couple of years. Last summer was an outlier for them. They went 24-17-3. They were able to make the playoffs as a third-place team of the West Division. They actually almost led the West Division at some portions of the summer, and were basically the second team behind Wareham all year long. However, this year, a much different story. Chad Gassman's side has really struggled in every facet of the game. Worst team in batting, worst team in pitching, worst team in fielding percentage. It has been a rough go. Good news for them, when you look at the standings, Bourne is only 3 points up on them, so it looks like there's going to be a little more movement in the basement of this division, looking like a 2-horse race between Wareham and Cotuit at the top. But Hyannis has gotten back on track. They've gotten some of the guys that they've been waiting for. Trevor Hauver, a returning guy from Arizona State, could make an impact at the number 3 spot in their lineup. But they just got to go one game at a time, Hyannis. You feel to see a team struggle so poorly out of the gate early. But they do have a little more pep in their step, going 500 in the last 6 games.
And you mentioned Cotuit at the top with Wareham. They're just on their heels, but Cotuit hasn't really done anything exceptionally so far this season, right around the middle in ERA, hits, runs, and batting average. So it's really looking for Cotuit to step up in one specific avenue, and we'll see if they can do that. We're going to go into the national anthem here in about a minute, and we'll throw it over to our pregame interview with Coach Roberts. We'll be back after the interview just here in a few minutes.
Here with Coach Mike Roberts before the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Coach, last night a 1-0 loss to Wareham with some really good pitching in that ball game. Only went an hour and 56 minutes. Have you ever had a game in the Cape League go that fast?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times. Years ago when the pitching was even a lot better, even though the pitching this year is up over the last 2 or 3 years, without a doubt. There may not be, a lot of first-rounders here, but there's a lot of really good pitchers here. And, we've had quite a few games in the past go that quick, but great ball game. We just come out on the wrong side.
Why do you think that's changed a little bit in regards to the pitching nowadays?
Well, just everybody's being shut down, so you're taking usually pitchers with less experience. They haven't been out there too much on Friday, Saturday, Sunday for their colleges, and so when you don't get the Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys with experience, again, you're getting inexperience with good arms, and inexperience with good arms usually means inconsistent in regards to the way they throw and the amount of innings they can throw because of the number of pitches they throw. But this year, overall, as you look at the league, and I think probably just about everybody's here now, close. There's probably some Omaha guys that still may not have arrived, but I think the pitching is definitely up from the last 2 or 3 years.
You saw your team pick up a couple big double plays yesterday to get out of a pair of jams. You mentioned defense being a focal point, an area of improvement you wanted to see your team make. How has that been? Have you seen your team make that improvement so far over the course of the last couple weeks?
Well, I don't know about 2 weeks, but the last few days have been much better, and it is a focal point because as I've used this term and probably have used it with you gentlemen as we've done this interview, is you'll never drive in as many runs as you let in. And so, let's try to not let any runs in, just as we're asking pitchers to throw strikes and rarely walk someone. And then as I've said for a long time, you look on the scoreboard and there's no walks and no errors, you got a pretty good chance of winning.
That's the plan. All righty, Coach. Enjoy this beautiful day, and thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Getting ready for baseball here in a few minutes at Lowell Park. Zach McCambly will be getting the ball today for the Kettleers. He's making his 3rd start of the season. His first start, his debut, was his best outing so far. He went 4 strong against Brewster. Just gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, but none of them were earned, and struck out 4. He faced Brewster again 9 days later. Struggled a little bit. He was roughed up in 2 1/3 innings. Gave up 2 earned runs, 3 hits, walked 1, and struck out 3. And as the Kettleers take the field, we'll take you through the Hyannis batting order. Leading off is Jackson Olson playing shortstop. Batting second is Rowdy Jordan, who will play center field. Trevor Hoover, left field, batting third. Jared DeSantolo will bat fourth and play third. Lucas Dunn bats fifth and plays second. Mitch McIntyre bats sixth and plays right. Hunter Goodman will bat seventh and DH. Brooks Carlson will play first and bat eighth. And Chad McDaniel, the catcher, will round things out for Hyannis today. A little bit more on McCambly's from Coastal Carolina. Stands at 6'2", 200 pounds. He'll be a junior. Right-handed pitcher. The defensive alignment for the Kettleers today, it'll be Casey Schmidt at third base, Adam Oviedo at short, a pretty common left side of the infield we've seen so far. Nick Gonzalez at second base, another mainstay. Mason McCorder at first. Cody Pasek behind the plate, Cam Hill in left field, Dante Williams manning center, and Parker Shavers in right field.
Keys for Zach McCambly on the mound today, Arm. I think you got to work the fastball to get strikes early on, but then look for him to work in a changeup and a slider as well. The big key for the Kettleers as a defensive unit behind McCambly is to play a clean ball game. You heard Coach talk about it, how he's been seeing the minor improvements with his defense over the last few days, but it takes time. It's a process, and if you want to win games, you got to have a better fielding percentage. The Kettleers have made 20 errors so far this season. That's the second most in the Cape. I think if they iron those things out and not issue any free passes on the mound, they put themselves in a really good position to win.
And Jackson Olson will lead things off here, batting from the left side. Olson, a shortstop from Hartford University, a senior from New Milford, Connecticut, New Milford High School. He hit 309 this season, 12 doubles, 8 stolen bases. He can run a little bit. Takes a first pitch fastball just off the plate, ball one. That one splits the plate in half. Now it's 1-1. 93 on the gun from McCambly. He can run it up to the mid-90s. Sits in the low 90s. The 1-1 pitch misses away. 2-1. Olsen was a late addition to the leadoff spot. A last-minute shuffle to the lineup. Rowdy Jordan, the center fielder, waits on deck. Another left-handed hitter. The 2-1 misses up and out. McCambly falls behind the leadoff hitter, Jackson Olsen. 3-1 here.
Anthony Servideo was originally supposed to start at shortstop for Hyannis, but he was a late scratch.
3-1 swings through a changeup. Will make it full to the leadoff hitter, Jackson Olsen, to lead this game off. McCambly gets his sign out of the windup. Kicks and deals the payoff pitch. Spoiled away a fastball. We'll see if it's in play. And not able to make the grab is Adam Oviedo as the ball shaded towards the foul line, just towards the fence where the fans and the chairs line down. There's a little bit of a shaded area where it's tough to see as the sun hides behind the trees here that surround Lowell Park. So another life here for Jackson Olsen. We'll get another chance. 3-2. Infield playing Olsen straight up with 2 strikes. The payoff pitch again. Line drive into right field. That'll fall in front of Shavers for a base hit. Olsen able to lead the ball game off for Hyannis with a single. That brings up the 2-hitter, Rowdy Jordan, outfielder from Mississippi State. He hit .290 in 66 games this spring, 6 home runs, 15 doubles, drove in 49. Pickoff over to first, Olsen's back easily. Another left-handed hitting heavy lineup, another pickoff over to first base. Batter on deck, Trevor Halver, also a left-handed hitter. Jordan awaits the first pitch. McCambly now out of the set. Kicks and deals. Curveball swung through it, strike 1. Jordan has started his summer with Hyannis 0 for 10, still looking for his first hit of the Cape Cod season. One of the several late arrivals and reinforcements for a Hyannis team that started 0-8-1, now turning it around a little bit after adding nearly a dozen players. Rosters become final around July 5th. The teams will be able to move and shake just a little bit longer, and then they're locked in for the calendar month going into the playoffs, which will start right at the end of July, early August. Olsen with a big lead off of first base. 0-1 to the 2-hitter, Rowdy Jordan. Pitch misses outside, 1-1. Hyannis able to win a few ball games in the last 6, as we mentioned, but still struggling to hit at the plate. 198 in their last 5 games. Just 213 in their last 10. The 1-1 pitch misses away again, 2-1. McCambly looks a little frustrated on the mound. McCambly continues to miss arm side against these left-handed hitters. He comes set quickly, takes a look over at Olsen. Kicks and deals. Olsen's on the move on a high fastball, swung through for a strike, and dead to rights is Olsen. A nice throw by Cody Pasek to erase the leadoff runner.
That's now back-to-back days for Cody Pasek, getting a man stealing on base. He has really improved with his arm back there. First couple of throws we saw him in his early starts at catcher, a little off target, a little not in time. But the last 2 he made, one last night at Wareham and the one just there to get the runner in Olsen, dead on the money.
Looked like a hit and run was on there for Hyannis, as Jordan swung at a pitch just about at his eyes, was not able to make contact, and that's why Olsen was out by a good several steps. Now he's behind 2-2. He grounds one over to Casey Schmidt. He scoops it up, throws it on the run, and just gets the hustling Jordan by a step.
Casey Schmidt likes that little jump throw coming in. He likes to make it look a little sleeker, a little more fancy. There's nothing wrong with that. He's shown a really good glove at third base so far this year.
It's like Pat Mahomes. He's more comfortable throwing on the run rather than just being stationary.
It's like that Phillip Rivers sidearm almost.
So that brings up the 3-hitter, Trevor Hauver. He takes a first pitch curveball that bends into the strike zone, 0-1. 81 on the bender there from McCambly. Hauver, an outfielder from Arizona State, a sophomore. He takes a curveball. This time it's low, 1-1.
Mike Roberts just came out of the dugout to motion Cam Hill to play a little more back in left field. Hauver's got a little bit of power.
He drove 13 home runs this season over at Arizona State, part of that potent offense led by Spencer Torkelson, who we saw in Chatham before he made his way over to Team USA, and Hunter Bishop, a first-round pick, 10th overall to the Giants. Just about every guy on that team could mash. He hit .339, drove in 50 runs as a freshman this year. He's behind 1-2 and pops one up into the shallow outfield. Dante Williams has a beat on it. He fights the sun and makes the grab. So McCambly able to erase the leadoff single by Hyannis. A nice throw by Cody Pasek to throw him out. And a 1-2-3 inning for Zach McCambly and the Kettleers. We'll go into the bottom of the first. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers get their first look at the southpaw Nick Mondak from St. John's University, a senior. He's from Watertown, Connecticut. He's making his 5th appearance of the summer, but just his first start, he's 0-0 with a 1.93 ERA and 4 2/3 innings pitched. Mondak will face this Kettleers lineup that sounds like this. Leadoff hitter Nick Gonzalez, 2-hitter Casey Schmidt, Dante Williams bats 3rd, Arajanu in the cleanup spot. Mason McCorder bats 5th, Parker Shaver 6th, Cam Hill 7th, Adam Oviedo bats 8th, and the 9-hitter is Cody Pasek, the catcher. Mondak mostly a 2-pitch mix. Will throw a fastball that sits in the low 90s, a curveball that sits in the mid 70s. This season at St. John's, he was 2-3 with a 3.86 ERA, struck out 34 in 35 innings pitched. So the dangerous Nick Gonzalez leads this off for the Kettleers. The first pitch takes a fastball high, ball 1. Gonzalez leads the Cape League in just nearly every offensive category, and if he's not leading it, he's right around the top. Batting average, hits, on-base percentage, you name it. The 1-0, he grounds one out to the shortstop Olsen, who comes around it, throws it on the run, and gets the hustling Gonzalez for out number 1. Next up, Casey Schmidt, the right-handed hitter from San Diego State. First time we've seen him in the 2-hole this summer. Seen him in the 3 spot, the 4 spot, and the 5 spot. Coach Roberts experimenting with him in the 2nd hole. First fastball runs away, ball one. 89 on the gun from Mondak. The 1-0 pitch. Blows a fastball by him, 1-1. Speaking of hitters, hitting in a new spot in the lineup, Dante Williams on deck gets his first look out of the 3-hole. A 1-1 to the right-handed hitting Casey Schmidt. Out of the windup, Mondak kicks and deals. Fastball fouled away. Out of play down the first base line. Schmidt was 0 for 3 yesterday in a shutout loss at Wareham. He flew out twice and grounded out. Just 3 hits in that ball game for the Kettleers. The 1-2 pitch spoils another one away. We'll do 1 and 2 again. Casey Schmidt has a pair of solo shots on the season, both here at Lowell Park. Looking to get his batting average going, still stuck under the Mendoza line. The 1-2 pitch. Got him on a changeup, strike 3 swinging. 2 quick outs for Mondak here in the bottom of the first inning. So we get our first look at Dante Williams batting in the 3-hole. He hit 7th in yesterday's ball game. He went 0 for 3. But in the first game against Wareham, had a pair of singles to both fields, one to left field, one to right, and scored a couple runs. The first pitch to Williams, fastball, strike 1 on the outside corner. Williams, an Arizona Wildcat, you can tell by his cleats. They have the dark blue, navy blue, with a red accent on the heels. Red batting gloves as well. He awaits the 0-1 pitch. Fastball splits the plate 0-2.
I think it's interesting how Mondak gets the ball for Hyannis today. Hasn't started a game in the Cape League, but this is his 5th appearance. The Harbor Hawks have been so desperate for any kind of quality starting pitching, and Chad Gassman looks to one of his trusty relievers who's only got a pocket full of innings so far coming into this game.
The 0-2 pitch. That one misses high. Williams able to lay off at 1-2.
Hyannis actually got a good outing last night from Billy Corcoran from Pitt. He worked 5 innings of 2-run ball in the win over Bourne, and that was his final start of the summer after he hit an innings limit.
A lot of shuffling we talked about in the last broadcast. As a coach here, playing with innings limits, it can be tough. Williams fouls one off the mask of McDaniel, just able to stay alive. After a slow start, Dante Williams has come on a little bit. He started the summer just 1 for his 17. Had a pair of hits 2 games ago. Had a couple good at-bats in an 0 for 3 effort against Wareham. Not many Kettleer hitters were able to get much going at all at the plate. The 1-2 again. Curveball that floats over his head. 2-2. Looked like Mondak lost that one right out of his hand.
Yeah, it just didn't have the release point, and that almost took an upward trajectory at the end.
Mondak shakes off the sign, finally agrees, in the 2-2 pitch. He spikes a fastball. 94 on the gun, the hardest we've seen from Mondak so far. That makes it full to Dante Williams with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. On deck is a Rajanu if Williams can reach base. The payoff pitch. Swings through a fastball, got him. So 1-2-3 inning for Nick Mondak in his first start. And we'll go into the top of the second, still scoreless. 3 up, 3 down on both ends. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. McCambly out for his second inning of Warwick Hull faced the cleanup hitter Jared DeSantolo, then Lucas Dunn and Mitch McIntyre. DeSantolo, an infielder from FAU, plays for Chris McCormick over in Boca Raton.
Lane Kiffin, you.
Might be more familiar with their football coach. That was the next thing I was going to say, is McCambly misses low with the fastball. Lane Kiffin, of course, the football coach for the FAU Owls.
Did they make a bowl game this year?
I believe they did. They were better in his first year.
Yeah, let me
Struggled a
look that
little
up.
bit this year, but still improved. 1-0 gets the top of the strike zone, 1-1. Lane Kiffin always brings some excitement wherever he goes, and Boca Raton a good spot for him.
Oh, man. Okay.
The 1-1 pitch. Curveball doesn't quite come back, 2-1. I want to say they only won 5 games. Am I wrong?
Hang on a second. I'm gonna look up. I just found another good thing that I'll follow up with you after we get this stat.
2-1 pitch. That time it's a strike. 2-2.
I should be faster with this internet thing. Here we go. All right, last year they went 5-7 and missed out on a bowl. His first year, you were right, they went 11-3 and won the Boca Raton Bowl.
Spoils away a 2-2 fastball. Will do it again. That's some regression from Lane Kiffin. You don't like to see that. Might be on the hot seat this year.
Can you guess how many games Lane Kiffin won in his 1.5 seasons with the Oakland Raiders?
3.
3? Everybody here in the booth is saying 3.
The 2-2 grounded out over past the first baseman McWhorter for a base hit into left field. So another leadoff single for Hyannis.
Lane Kiffin won a total of 5 games with the Raiders. He coached in 20 career games. He won 5 of them. He went 4-12 in his first year in Oakland, and then went 1-3. And then he was fired after week 4.
Sounds like he should have been. Now he's at Boca Raton, but FAU a good baseball program, probably their strongest sport routinely. Chris McCormick's been there for over 20 years. Pickoff over to first base. He dives back in time easily. Does DeSantolo.
That'd be a really good place to play baseball. I'm sure the recruiting attraction is there.
Play against Miami, play against a lot of those good Florida schools. The first pitch, it's a curveball that misses low to Lucas Dunn, the second baseman. Dunn, the second baseman out of Louisville. He's a sophomore from Panama City, Florida. I know your favorite vacation spot, Sam, up on the Panhandle. He hit .309 this spring. Stole 15 bags. He can run a little bit. So can DeSantolo at first. He stays on that pitch. It's 1-1 after McCambly able to pour in a strike on the inside corner. Dunn 6'1", 200 pounds. Bats from the right side. Bat just above his shoulder. He wiggles it back and forth, awaiting the pitch from McCambly. Kicks and deals. A curveball again in the dirt. 2-1. On deck, Mitch McIntyre in the hole. Hunter Goodman. McCambly comes set right at the chest. Kicks and deals to 2-1. It's a flare out into right field. That'll fall for a base hit. Rounding second and holding up is DeSantolo. So back-to-back singles here. Seeing eye singles for Hyannis to start off the second inning. Sounded like Lucas Dunn hit that one off the end of the bat. May have broken his lumbar there. But he'll take it. A flare that got just into shallow right field as Nick Gonzalez was shaded up the middle in double play depth. So that brings up Mitch McIntyre, the right fielder from Brigham Young University. Still no outs, 2 men on. McCambly throws the first pitch. It's lifted out into center field. Dante Williams ranges over to his right. He makes the grab, tagging is DeSantolo, and the throw comes into third, but it won't get there in time as he just beats a strong throw from Dante Williams all the way at the warning track.
Not a bad throw from Williams. We've talked about his arm strength before. Rainbowed that one into third base, put a lot of arc under it. Lots of power to get it there. Just wasn't accurate enough in time.
Lucas Dunn was able to advance to second after the arcing throw that you mentioned, Sam. Gave him an easy opportunity to advance. So now 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out, and Coach Roberts will already bring his infield in with his struggling offense, still looking for their first run in over a dozen innings. First pitch is a curveball waved at by Hunter Goodman, the DH. Goodman, a catcher from Memphis University, had a great freshman season. 326, 13 home runs, 16 doubles, 64 runs batted in. A really good year for Memphis. A curveball he tried to get out of the way of, but it bent back into the strike zone. So 0-2. So the DH Goodman, who spent most of his time at Memphis catching, but he can also play third base and outfield. He DHs today. He's behind 0-2 with the infield in, 1 out, 2 runners on. Fastball misses high. 94 on the gun from McCambly. DeSantolo, the runner on third, he led off the inning with a single. Lucas Dunn, the runner on second, he followed suit with a single to right field. Both advanced on a fly ball off the bat of Mitch McIntyre. Now, Hunter Goodman looks to plate them with just 1 away here in a 1-2 count. Still scoreless in the top of the second. A curveball. He lifts out into right field, giving chase is Parker Shavers. He's under it, and he'll make the grab, but that'll be deep enough for DeSantolo to score in the first inning. In the second inning, that's the first run of the ball game as Hyannis takes a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second.
Well, Hyannis' lineup has already seen the ball pretty well against Zach McCambly. 1 run on 3 hits, and a good job by the last 2 batters in McIntyre and then Goodman to drive in the run with a couple of fly balls. Well hit ball by Goodman in the right. Shavers really never had a shot to make any kind of throw. So you got a 1-0 deficit right now if you're Cotuit.
Was able to get the second out of the inning there with the runner tagging up on third. Now Brooks Carlson at the plate with the runner on third, 2 outs. Lucas Dunn, the runner on third. Infield now back with 2 away. Hyannis able to draw first blood on a sac fly off the bat of Hunter Goodman. The 0-1 curveball gets the inside corner, 0-2. On deck is the 9-hitter Chad McDaniel. Carlson, an infielder from Sanford University in Mobile, Alabama. He tries to stay alive here behind 0-2. He takes a curveball in the inside corner, got him looking, but not before Hyannis draws first blood on a sac fly after a pair of singles. So it's 1-0 in favor of the away Harbor Hawks. We'll go into the bottom of the second. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Second inning of work for Nick Mondak. He worked a 1-2-3 first. He'll face Arajanu, the switch hitter, batting from the right side. The first pitch to Anu, fastball misses away, ball 1. It's been a tough go for Anu. Just 1 for his last 26 in his last 10 ball games. 1-0 is lifted out into right field. Coming in is McIntyre. He drifts back a little bit and makes the grab. Fighting the sun, he made that look a little bit more difficult. A routine fly ball to right field, able still to make the grab. So 4 up, 4 down for the Kettleers. And that brings up the first baseman, Mason McCorder from Georgia Southern.
You really feel for Rajanu. He's got to find a way to get his swing back at the plate. He's a fastball hitter, so I understand the early swing in the account to see if he can attack a pitch that he likes, but just not the best of at-bats for him over the last couple of games.
McCorder fouls off the first pitch. McCorder has started off with the Kettleers here. 3 for 15. He's driven in 1 run so far. The 0-1 pitch, he takes a fastball just up and out, 1-1. McCorder's made 5 straight starts at first base since he got here. Teammate of Joe Nahas at Georgia Southern. The 1-1 pitch, he lifts a curveball up in the air. Fighting the sun is the first baseman, Carlson. He's called off by the second baseman, Dunn, who makes the grab. So 2 quick outs here for Mondak, able to induce 2 weak fly balls to the right side, and Parker Shavers will look for the first hit of the ball game for the Kettleers.
Remember what we talked about in the open, 3 and outs, right? Just like in football, 1, 2, 3 inning. Kettleers in danger of going 1, 2, 3 at the plate here in the first 2 innings.
The first pitch to Shavers, fastball right down Broadway, strike 1. Shavers from Coastal Carolina, teammate of the starting pitcher today, McCambly. Fastball misses just up and out. McDaniel tried to bring that one back, but Ronaldo Cuckram, the home plate umpire, wasn't buying the frame. 1-1 pitch. Fastball lifted out of play over the third base grandstand. So Shavers trying to stay alive here, behind 1-2 against the southpaw Mondak. The middle of this Kettleers order has run into some struggles. Shavers as well. He's 3 for his last 16 after a pretty hot start to his summer. Infield plays Shavers straight up. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball right down the middle, got him looking. So 6 up, 6 down for Mondak through 2. We'll go into the top of the third. My partner Sam Niederman will take over. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Back at Lowell Park, top of the third inning. Hyannis on top of Cotuit, 1-0. And Hyannis back at the plate, 9-1-2 due up against the right-hander Zach McCambly, Chad McDaniel, Jackson Olson, and then Rowdy Jordan. Another left-handed bat to lead things off. Chad McDaniel, the catcher out of Mizzou. 4 of his first 19 to start the year in 6 games played. He has 1 RBI. Casey Schmidt plays in by a touch at third base, and McCambly deals in an off-speed pitch for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike. Hyannis took the lead in the top of the second inning, an RBI sac fly by Hunter Goodman. 0-1. Knocked on the ground foul to the right of first base, 0-2. 3 hits already for Hyannis through 8 batters in their order. Kettleers have gone down in order in their first 2 trips to the plate, 6 up and 6 down against Nick Mondak, the lefty. McCambly's 2-strike pitch. Fastball lifted to right center field. Chavers coming in for it, and he makes a catch on the run for out number 1. Hope you're having a great day wherever you may be listening. This is a makeup game between these 2 teams. It was supposed to happen on Friday of that week where we had the 4 different games impacted by weather. Monday games that are makeup games typically don't draw a huge crowd, and Mike Roberts was a little scared of that earlier when we talked with him. He didn't know if there would be too many people that showed up, but actually not too bad. Some more folks have filed in the last inning or so. Third base grandstand almost filled up to capacity. Here's Jackson Olsen. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Visiting grandstand, a little more sparse on the first base side. Lots of 4th of July patriotic red, white, and blue being sprinkled around the ballpark as well. Different American flags being put in different places around the concourse. Fly ball to center. Williams has it. 2 down here in the visiting half of 3.
Good job by Williams there, the center fielder. That ball was hit hard off the bat. They always teach you as an outfielder, first step back, it's always easier to come in. That's exactly what he did. Was able to come in and get a line drive off the bat of Jackson Olsen.
McCambly's retired the first 2 he's seen in this frame. Nobody on with 2 outs, and Rowdy Jordan at the plate 0 for 1 with a ground out to third base. First pitch fastball at 93 miles an hour in the dirt. Beautiful day for baseball. Sunny, clear skies, 75 degrees. It's just perfect when you walk outside the door. It doesn't feel too hot, doesn't feel cold, just right there in the middle. 1-0. Fastball on the top part of the zone called for a strike at 95 on the radar gun. 1-1. 1-0 Hyannis in the top of the third inning. 2 outs and the base is empty. McCambly shakes off Pasek, now gets his sign. 1-1. Fastball called for a strike at the knees. 95 with the velo, starting to pump it up there a little bit. Kettleers in the home white pinstripes, trimmed in maroon. Hyannis in the road blue tops on white pants, trimmed in orange. 1-2 to Jordan. Fastball jammed him, but he's just able to get a piece of it foul. Keep the count at 1-2. First of a 2-game homestand for Cotuit. The Bourne Braves are in town tomorrow. First time that Cotuit will see the Bravos. First pitch at 5 p.m. Then a road trip to Falmouth, and then back home on the 4th of July to take on Falmouth once more. 1-2, breaking pitch, swing and a miss. Jordan down on strikes, and McCambly works a 1-2-3 third inning. That retires a side, and the Kettleers come back to the plate in the bottom of the third with a chance to get back in this game. 1-0 Hyannis. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. to Lowell Park. 1-0 Hyannis. Bottom of the third inning, and the Cotuit Kettleers at the plate with 7, 8, and 9 due up. Cam Hill, Adam Oviedo, and Cody Pasek on to face a left-hander, Nick Mondak. He has worked a perfect 2 scoreless so far. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Aram, it's been a slow start at the plate for the Kettles so far. What do they got to do to adjust?
Really not getting on top of the ball. We talk about striking out and flying out, how you're not really putting much pressure on the defense, and that's something they need to do, especially with Cam Hill, the speedster, and then the top of the order flipping it back over. Put the pressure on the defense when your offense is struggling rather than just popping up.
Cam Hill has a chance to reverse that trend. A left-handed batting left fielder from Kentucky. First pitch from Mondak, a fastball ripped foul down the right field line, out of play. No balls and 1 strike. DeSantolo plays in by a couple of steps at third base, maybe suspecting a bunt. Cam Hill has laid down a couple of bunts this season. It's been one of his little specialties at the plate. Mondak from the windup, 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, high and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hill 8 for 35 to begin the summer. 2 RBIs. 7 steals, that's second best in the Cape. 1-1 pitch. Fastball low, 2 balls and a strike.
The amazing thing for Cam Hill, it feels like he had 6 steals in the first 5 ball games of the season. He's been stuck a little bit, but he had a huge lead to start.
2-1. Fastball, called for a strike on the upper part of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. It's also been a logjam in outfield depth for the Kettleers. Lots of outfielders that have cycled through Mike Roberts' starting lineup. Hill being one of them. 2-2 fastball, jammed right back behind home plate, foul. Was going to zoom right into our press box window if there wasn't a fence in between us.
That was amazing. If the fence wasn't there, it actually would have hit me square in the face.
Oh, man.
It was pretty cool to see it just coming right at you. You always see people behind home plate flinching on TV in the ball games.
Breaking ball out, full count on Hill.
It's understandable why. It really messes with your eyes when you see a ball flying right at you.
Bases empty, nobody out in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Hyannis. 3-2 to Hill. Fastball turned on the ground, foul, and we'll do it again.
It's the best at-bat so far by any Kettleer, making the starter Mondak work. Seen more of his pitches. He's mostly a fastball curveball guy, so once you get used to it, see that release point, hopefully you can jump on one here.
3-2 breaking ball, zipped down to right field. McIntyre right at the line, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Not a bad plate appearance by Cam Hill. He puts contact into that ball, but is unable to get aboard with a hit. Leadoff man retired in the bottom of the third. Nobody on, and here's Adam Oviedo.
That was the best at-bat so far by any Kettleer. As we said before, seeing a lot of pitches and hit the hardest ball so far, but shaded over down the line was McIntyre, or else that would have been extra bases.
First pitch to Obi, swing and a miss at a changeup low. No balls and 1 strike. Oviedo, 11 hits in his first 41 at-bats, 3 home runs, and 9 driven in. Hyannis resets the infield at normal depth and alignment. 0-1 from Mondak. Fastball fouled away. 0-2.
Seen Ovi struggle a little bit with the off-speed, specifically change-ups. Hasn't been able to lay off the change-up down. He jumps all over the fastball. We've seen that so far this season, but wouldn't be surprised if Mondak goes back to the change-up here. He's had some success with it.
2-strike changeup on the outside corner. A check swing from Oviedo, and he went around according to the first base umpire. That's strike 3 and out number 2 in the bottom of the third. Nick Mondak checking in with 4 strikeouts against the first 8 batters he's faced in the Cotuit lineup. Base is empty with 2 away, and the number 9 man, Cody Pasek, climbs in for the left side.
We talk a lot about lefty-righty splits. Of course, left-handed pitchers have more success against left-handed hitters. But the way left-handed pitchers can have a lot of success against right-handed hitters is to have an effective changeup. And that's something that Mondak looks like he's able to use so far to get the right-handed hitting Kettleers out so far.
He's ahead in the count, 0-1 on Pasek. 0-1, changeup in the dirt. Good eye by Pasek. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pasek 1 for 3 last night. He collected one of the 3 hits for the Kettleers in the loss against Wareham. Adam Oviedo and Nick Gonzalez had the other 2. 1-1 on the way. Fastball. Just down and off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's a Cotuit offense that's hitting .233 as a club. 5th in the Cape League. 2-1. Hit sharply to short. Funneled in by Olson. And he's able to make the play for out number 3. Nothing doing for the Kettleers. And 1 time through the order against the lefty Nick Mondak. 3 up and 3 down again. 9 up and 9 down for Mondak on the hill. And we have played 3 complete. Hyannis up 1-0 on Cotuit. We'll be right back in just a Cotuit and Hyannis. Top of the 4th inning. Hyannis leads 1-0 over the Kettleers. Cotuit back in the field. Hyannis back at the plate. Hauver, DeSantolo, and then Dunn. 3, 4, and 5 due up against the right-hander Zach McCambly. Hauver, a left-handed bat. He kind of crowds the plate a little bit and takes a fastball low at the ankles for ball 1. Casey Schmidt plays in on the edge of the grass at third base. Everybody else at normal depth and alignment. Hauver 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored back in the 2nd, and he twists one foul past first base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hyannis began that inning with 2 singles. Then a fly ball by Mitch McIntyre into center moved both runners into scoring position. Hunter Goodman capped it off with a sacrifice fly into right field. One. Fastball hit up the middle. Diving stop by Nick Gonzalez. Not able to get it done, and it goes into right center for a single. Trevor Hauver checks in with his 2nd base hit of the game. Or first, I beg your pardon. And he's aboard to lead things off at the top of the 4th. Here's Jared DeSantolo, who is 1 for 1 with a base hit. And a run scored. Hauver now 1 for 2. 1-0 Hyannis. 1 on and nobody out. DeSantolo back at the plate. Third baseman out of Florida Atlantic University. Pick over by McCambly to check on the runner. McCambly out of the stretch for the 3rd time this afternoon. Another throw over to check on the runner, and Hauver, who dives back in safely. Sunny day at Lowell Park. Schmidt still in at third base by a touch. First pitch home to DeSantolo. That's off the plate. A breaking ball, ball 1. Hyannis leads it 1-0 in the top of the 4th with a runner on and nobody out. Kettleers crushed the Harbor Hawks in the first meeting between these 2 teams. That was the 3rd game of the season for Cotuit, an 11-0 shutout win. 1-0 fastball framed on the outside corner, 1-1. That was back when the Kettleers started the year 3-0. Began 4-1. Have tailed off since. Just 3-6-2 since that start. Hauver the lead at first, held on by Mason McWhorter. Double play depth for the middle of the infield. 1-1 breaking ball way high and outside, and Pasek did a good job to scatter and catch it. 2-1.
It looks like McCambly continues to miss arm side with that breaking ball, and that's why Hyannis has been all over his fastball. They've been able to sit on it in hitters' counts because they know McCambly can't spot up the off speed right now.
DeSantolo, the batter at the plate, in the driver's seat. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch, fastball low and in. Check swing, appeal to third. He did not go around, according to Dave Viveros, who's behind the pitching mound and in between second base. 3-1 count. Hauver steps off first base as a lead runner. Nobody out. McCambly, the leg lift, in the 3-1. Fastball called for a strike at the knees. 3-2.
Still gets me every time when they appeal over to the third base umpire when there's a runner on first because he's behind the pitcher's mound, almost right by second base. And it has to be a guess at that point if you're asking if he thought that the batter went. I mean, how can you see from directly in front of home plate?
Payout pitch to DeSantolo. Fastball called for a strike on the outside corner. McCambly gets him looking. That's his second strikeout of this game, and the first out here in the top of the 4th. One down with a man on first and Hauver. Lucas Dunn back at the plate. He's 1-for-1 with a single back in the second. Right-handed batting second baseman. Kettleers still have the middle of the infield at double play depth. McWhorter still holds on the runner, and McCambly steps off the runner. 1-0 Hyannis over Cotuit in the top of the 4th. And a throw over to check back on Hauver, who's able to duck back in safely. Dunn crowds the plate a little bit from the right side. McCambly stands straight up in the stretch. First pitch, swing and a miss at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Cotuit and Hyannis are noted as rivals. They play for the Barnstable Patriot Cup, which debuted back in 2004. This is the 16th summer with it. It's actually been a thing ever since Mike Roberts arrived in Cotuit. 0-1 breaking pitch down and out. 1 ball and 1 strike on Dunn. Cotuit leads the all-time Patriot Cup Series 10-5, and the Kettleers have won 7 of the last 8 Patriot Cups, including last summer's. Cotuit won 4 of the 6 matchups against Hyannis. Another throw over to check on the runner and Hauver. Last time that Cotuit lost it was back in 2015. That was a Hyannis club that went all the way to the Cape League Finals and lost against the YD Red Sox. 1-1. Fastball just off the plate. 2-1 on Dunn. Patriot Cup actually named by the Barnstable Patriot, which is a newspaper here on Cape Cod. Although it sounds pretty good given the Americana feel of the Cape League, just the patriotic tones of playing summer baseball. Pop-up foul, right side of the infield. McWhorter comes in from first and is able to make the catch battling the sun for the second out. Hauver stays put at first base. 2 outs, and that brings up the number 5 man, Mitch McIntyre. Top of 4, and Cotuit trails 1-0. McIntyre at the plate, the right fielder out of BYU. He's 0 for 1 with a fly ball into center. Kettleers push the middle of the infield back to normal depth. McWhorter still holds on at first, and McCambly throws over to first once again. Schmidt plays in by a step at third base. First pitch to McIntyre. Fastball right down the pipe. Strike number 1. McIntyre, a native of Stawsbury, Utah. His mom played softball at BYU. Grew up right near the Great Salt Lake. Another throw over to check on Hauver. He has a twin brother and is a computer engineering major. Kettleers down 1-0 in the visiting half of the fourth. One man on with 2 outs. McCambly out of the stretch, 0-1. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Runner going in Hauver. Late throw from Pasek, who I'm not quite sure knew that the runner was going. He had to look down in the dirt at that breaking ball. And Hauver's able to steal second safely.
It seemed like an inadvertent delayed steal. Sometimes you can catch the catcher napping on a delayed steal, but I think he was trying to get a jump on the dirt ball, was surprised by Pasek picking it, and then ran a little late. Pasek thought he was staying home. By the time he looked up, he was already halfway to second base.
Hyannis with a runner in scoring position, and a throw into center field by McCambly. He tried to use a spin move to check on the runner. Adam Oviedo wasn't quite ready to catch it, and instead it went into center. Dante Williams backed it up. Hauver stays put. It was kind of a delayed steal on that last play. Hyannis a chance to add to their 1-0 lead in the top of the fourth. Man on second with 2 outs. McIntyre at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. McCambly ready. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss at a slider downstairs. 1-2. These two franchises, both in the town of Barnstable, Hyannis and Cotuit, both in that same area. Only town that has 2 teams. 1-2, bouncer up the middle, taken by Gonzalez at second. Eddie makes the play over to first for out number 3. Zach McCambly able to work around a leadoff single. Hyannis with no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left in scoring position in the top of the fourth. 1-0 Harbor Hawks over the Kettleers, and Cotuit's back at the plate when we return for the bottom of 4 on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Schmidt and Dante Williams to lead things off for the Kettleers in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1, 2, and 3 due up against the left-hander Nick Mondak. Hyannis controls this ball game by a score of 1-0. Gonzalez a chance to get things started. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out to short his first time up. Sam Niederman alongside Arm Layton. Glad you could join us on this sunny Monday afternoon in the village of Cotuit. Mondak's first pitch, fastball up and out. 1 ball and no strikes to Gonzalez. He has been the most consistent, the biggest star in the Kettleer lineup. 20 of his first 54, leads the Cape in batting average, RBI, walks, runs, OBP, and slugging. 1-0 breaking ball, way upstairs, 2-0. And we've seen him develop. First few games, patient approach, lots of walks. Last couple of games, very aggressive. He's been getting a lot of lumber to the baseball.
He's not your traditional leadoff hitter. He's happy to jump on the first pitch, and it's been really good for him so far the last few games.
Mondak a called strike with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-1. He extended his 16-game on-base streak to open up the summer last night against Wareham. Reached on an error and also singled. 2-1 home. Fastball tailed into the air. Out of play, foul on the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gonzalez. Was a part of a New Mexico State offense this past spring that just raked. He was 3rd in the entire country in hits with 95, 4th in RBI with 80, and 3rd in runs scored with 80 as well. Mondak the windup at the 2-2. Fastball dives away, full count. Grew up in Vail, Arizona. That's just south of Tucson. Then made the move east to Las Cruces, New Mexico.
I like that
home of the New Mexico State Aggies. Yeah, I had to put a little Latino flair in there. Slightly open stance for Gonzalez. 3-2 pitch. Fastball whipped off, foul on the right side. Still 3-2. That's just right on the Rio Grande. New Mexico State. I've never been to New Mexico. I heard it's a nice state.
Never been either. Arizona I have.
One of my favorite films, Hell or High Water, was filmed in New Mexico. It's a Western that's set in Texas, but it was filmed in New Mexico. Beautiful movie. Kettleers down 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And Mondak wants to run through the signs again. He steps off the rubber.
And this is where Nick Gonzalez eats. He's comfortable with a full count. He loves it. He knows a pitch has to be around the strike zone, but he knows he can pick it up and leave it if it's not.
Payoff pitch, swatted away, foul again. Gonzalez stays alive with a 3-2 count.
And his pitch recognition is so good that, going off of what I was just saying, with a full count, he's comfortable that he knows when to pull the trigger and when not to. That was a borderline pitch there. He's able to spoil it away. And you'll very rarely see Nick Gonzalez go down looking.
8th pitch of the at-bat. 3-2 breaking ball, high and tight. That's ball 4. Nick Gonzalez with a walk to start things off for Cotuit in the bottom of the 4th. Well, it had been a minute since he had walked. It's his 12th on the season, a league best. And Gonzalez is aboard first with nobody out, and Casey Schmidt at the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Mondak out of the stretch. That is the first batter to reach base against him in this game. First 9 Kettleers were retired by the lefty out of St. John's, and he deals a fastball up and away to Casey Schmidt, 1-0. Hyannis leads 1-0, bottom of the 4th. Man on first with nobody out, and time called. Ray Korn, the Hyannis pitching coach, comes out of the first base dugout to meet for a mound visit. All 9 batters through the Kettleer order were retired through the first 3 innings of this one. Gonzalez works the walk on an 8-pitch at-bat to begin the bottom of the 4th. Ray Korn, an American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Famer, out on the mound to talk with his lefty in Mondak. One of 5 Cape League coaches in the ABCA Hall of Fame. Scott Pickler, the most recent inductee, the Whitey Red Sox in the 2019 class. Ron Polk, SEC baseball legend, who's also an assistant on the Hyannis staff, is in that same Hall of Fame. Jerry Weinstein from Wareham, the 4th. And the 5th coach, our own Mike Roberts, class of 2015. 1-0 Hyannis, bottom 4, mound visit over, and Mondak back to the plate. Foul ball by Schmidt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hyannis took the lead in the 2nd on the RBI sac fly by Hunter Goodman. 1 run on 4 hits for the Harbor Hawks. No hits so far this afternoon for Cotuit. Gonzalez off first, held on by Carlson, and Mondak throws over that way. Kettleers ready for a stretch of 3 games at home in their next 4. Bourne tomorrow, Falmouth on the 4th of July.
No rain on the forecast either.
Lots of sun. 1-1, ripped into the air, left center field. Jordan going back, it's in the gap. Jordan backpedaling at the fences, and he's able to high point it for out number 1. Gonzalez tagged all the way from first and scurries up to second base. How about that alert base running? A productive long out by Casey Schmidt into left center field, and Gonzalez moves up into scoring position with only 1 out in the bottom of the 4th.
Great job by Gonzalez there to recognize the center fielder Jordan was drifting a little bit. He was not around that ball or camping under it, so by the time he caught it, his momentum was still taking him towards the wall, and Gonzalez knew he would not make a strong throw into second base and got in easily standing up.
Gonzalez the lead at second base. Nobody holding on for Hyannis. Kettleers down 1-0. Dante Williams at the plate from the left side. First pitch from Mondak. Fastball out and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Williams 0 for 1. He struck out swinging his first time up. Mike Roberts looking for some urgency in the third base coaching box. That's currently covered up by the shade of the trees behind him. DeSantolo plays a little in at third. 1-0 to Williams. Wave and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coach Roberts has the quarter zip on. It's 75 and perfect. I guess he wants the layers. It probably will cool down later, but it's summertime. It's July the 1st. Chance for Cotuit to get back into this game. Down 1-0 in the 4th. Gonzalez on second, 1-1 to Williams. He shows bunt and breaks the plane for strike 2. Williams wanted an appeal down to third base, but Ronaldo Cuckram, the home plate umpire, said you went around regardless. Williams a grin as he steps out of the left-handed batter's box and looks to reset. Gonzalez led things off with a walk. He was pushed over to second base after the deep fly out to center by Schmidt. Mondak a long look in for the sign from McDaniel. The lanky lefty comes set out of the stretch. 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Williams. Mondak in his first start of the summer for Hyannis today. It's his 5th appearance. He only had 4 2/3 innings under his belt coming into today's contest. He's getting close to matching that total. He's trying to preserve a 1-0 lead for his squad. 2-2. Fastball knocked away foul on the left side.
Great job by Williams there to spoil what was probably a borderline pitch. Rather try and foul it off than take your chances with the big strike zone we've seen so far with most umpires in this Cape Cod League. They'll give a couple balls off the plate away. No need to take your chances. Try and spoil it and get a better pitch to see.
Gonzalez the lead at second, nobody holding. 1 out, bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Hyannis. 2-2, splintered in the air, left side but down the line foul. Williams continues to battle. Remember, he had the great at-bat last night at Wareham, a 10-pitch at-bat that just resulted in a ground out to second base, but he fouled off multiple pitches with 2 strikes on him. That was against Ian Bedell, the Wareham starter, who threw 5 scoreless. Nobody has scored a run on him so far this season. Mondak off the rubber. He wants to go through the signs once more with McDaniel. Runner on second with 1 out. 2-2 home. Breaking ball up at the shoulders. Full count by Williams.
Mondak looking like he can't really find a feel for the curveball. He's been spotting up the fastball pretty well, but both starting pitchers today struggling with the off speed.
One nothing Hyannis in the bottom of the 4th. Man on second with 1 away. 3-2. Fastball whipped away foul on the left side. Again out of play. Dante Williams continues to find a way to protect.
And it's a great situation for Williams when you know the pitcher is struggling with his off speed and a full count. There is an open base at first, but I doubt he wants to put another speedster on with just 1 away for the middle of the order. So you got to be sitting fastball. If he can spot up an off-speed pitch for strike 3, you tip your cap.
Mondak ready out of the stretch. 9th pitch of the at-bat, and he misses badly with a fastball in the other batter's box. Dante Williams with a fantastic plate appearance. He works a walk to make it 1st and 2nd with only 1 out for the Kettleers in the bottom of the 4th. Nick Gonzalez thought about going to third on that last pitch. It got off the end of McDaniel's mitt behind home plate, but instead he stayed put. And it looks like Chad Gassman is ready for a pitching change. The Hyannis manager comes out of the dugout, And he says that's enough to his lefty, Nick Mondak. He works 3 1/3 innings, but he's responsible for the 2 runners on base. And Cotuit has a chance to take the lead for the first time this afternoon. We'll get you the new Hyannis pitcher when we come back in just a moment on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers down 1-0 in the 4th, and you'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Cotuit. New pitcher on for Hyannis. That is it for Nick Mondak. And a right-hander comes out of the pen. Joseph Quintal, a right-handed pitcher from Fordham, 6'2", 180, a junior. He's 0-1 with a 7.87 earned run average. It's his 4th appearance on the summer. He was originally scheduled to start this ball game. Instead, he comes in the middle. He's thrown 8 innings so far this year and has given up a total of 7 runs. Chance for the Kettleers, down 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. 1 out and 2 on. And Arajanu at the plate. He takes a breaking ball on the outside corner, just 70 miles an hour for strike 1. A new 0 for 1. He flied out to right field back in the 2nd. Switch hitter bats from the left side against the righty. Quintal from the stretch, 0-1. Taken in the air to right. Hauver comes in for it. McIntyre, and he makes the play for out number 2. Quintal gets his first out of the bullpen with just 2 pitches. Anu retired again. And now it's up to Mason McWhorter to try and get the Kettleers on the board here in the bottom of the 4th. First and second with 2 down. And Hyannis in the driver's seat leading 1-0. Quintal looks in for a sign from McDaniel. He's got it. Both runners not being held on. First pitch. McWhorter swings and foul tips a breaking ball. That curveball only coming in the low 70s. It's strike 1. No balls and 1 strikes to McWhorter, who is 0 for 1 with a pop out to second base. First baseman out of Georgia Southern. Mike Roberts reminds his base runners there's 2 outs. Quintal will look back to second. Now the 0-1. Roped into the gap, right center field. That falls down for a base hit. Gonzalez speeds in from third. Throw from McIntyre up the first baseline. And the Kettleers tie things up in the bottom of the 4th. Mason McWhorter comes up with an RBI single. It had been coming, and Cotuit finally gets their first hit of this game. Mason McWhorter with an RBI single into right. It comes with 2 outs to plate Gonzalez. And Cotuit has tied this game 1 run apiece. Still 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. First and third, and Parker Chavers returns to the plate. Quintal from the belt. First pitch curveball in there for a called strike. 0-1 on Chavers. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. McWhorter, the runner at first base, held on by Carlson. Williams, the runner at third base. Nobody holds him on. 0-1. Breaking ball yanked outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Chavers. Nick Gonzalez worked the walk with a full count to begin the inning. Casey Schmidt moved him over with a fly ball into center field. Dante Williams worked a 9-pitch walk. And Mason McWhorter comes up with a 2-out single against the new right-hander out of the bullpen in Joseph Quintal. You can charge that run to Nick Mondak. That was his base runner, and Nick Gonzalez who came around to score. 1-1 to Chavers. Runner going from first to McWhorter. Defensive indifference, no throw. No choice for McDaniel with the runner on third and Williams. Now the Kettleers have 2 in scoring position. Second and third, 2 outs, nobody holding on. 1-1 game in the bottom of the fourth. Quintal set at the belt, 2-1 to Chavers. Breaking ball in the dirt, good 5-hole block by McDaniel. 3-1. Three-one pitch. Fastball hammered in the air. Deep right. Say goodbye, Parker Chavers. A home run for the Kettleers. And that's a 3-run bomb to open things up in the bottom of the fourth. Cotuit 4 and Hyannis 1 in the blink of an eye.
And that's right in a lefty's wheelhouse. Down and in. A pitch you can just lift out to the shallow part of right field there. And a blast from Parker Chavers right over Hyannis' bullpen.
Wow, Parker Chavers jumps on a 3-1 fastball and cranked it deep to right field all the way into the Hyannis bullpen. McIntyre looked up at it, and he knew that he had no play on it. And Cotuit breaks it open, and just with 2 hits takes a 4-1 advantage over Hyannis. Base is empty with 2 outs and Cam Hill at the plate. Swing and a miss at a changeup, nothing in 1. Hill's 0 for 1 with a line out into right field. Well, Cotuit's offense looked like it was sleepwalking through the first time through the order, but this time they're able to get into the Hyannis bullpen, specifically after the 2 walks from Mondak in this inning, and busted open. All 4 runs coming home with 2 outs. McWhorter, the RBI single, and now Chavers, a 3-run home run. That is his second of the season.
We've talked about it a lot already this year. Cotuit lives and dies by the long ball. First in the Cape League in home runs and also in strikeouts. Offense has been a premium so far, but now they're able to get 3 on 1 swing.
Curveball to Hill. He checked his swing and went around. Strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's the 16th home run of the summer for Cotuit. Wind up from the pitcher and Quintal, and he misses high and away with a fastball. 2-2. Nick Mondak began this inning, walked 2 of the first 3 batters that he saw, and exited the game. Quintal trying to get out of it. 2-2. Breaking ball, turned on the ground to first, but it dribbles off foul. McWhorter, the 2-out RBI single. Chavers, the 3-run bomb to right. 4 runs on 2 hits for Cotuit at home, no errors. 1 run on 4 hits and no errors for Hyannis on the road. Hill rests his bat on the back left shoulder, gears up for the 2-2, and takes a breaking pitch in the dirt. Full count. You could hear the oohs and the ahs from the crowd here at Lowell Park after that last Chavers blast. One of those plays where you just tip your cap. 3-2, fouled away by Hill. He stays alive. It's the only kind of reaction that you can. It's the kind of reaction you can get only in the Cape League. Just one of those where you appreciate the future glimmer of what a prospect brings to the next level, and Chavers is one of those guys. 3-2 breaking ball, swing and a miss by Hill. That's a strikeout to end the inning. But Cotuit gains the lead, a 4-run inning on 2 hits. 2-out RBI single by Mason McWhorter, and then a 3-run home run by Parker Chavers, and the Kettleers control it 4-1 as we venture on to the 5th. Aram Layton back with the play-by-play when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
For the Kettleers, and now he has some run support after a 3-run bomb off the bat of Parker Shavers. It's now 4-1 in favor of Cotuit. He faces a DH Hunter Goodman, then Brooks Carlson and the 9-hitter Chad McDaniel. First pitch fastball fouled away, strike 1. McCambly's been able to battle out there despite not having his best stuff. Seen him struggle to locate the off speed, but mostly going to the fastball and trying to induce weak contact. He's struck out 3 so far. Ground ball over to Schmidt, and it eats him up. It takes a big hop off the lip. And Goodman will reach base to lead off the 5th inning.
I feel like we jinxed Casey Schmidt after applauding his defense early in this game. A tough play, especially with the break from the shadows at third base. And took a weird hop on him at the last second and nicked off the heel of his glove.
So Goodman reaches on the error. It'll be charged to the third baseman Casey Schmidt. And Brooks Carlson will come to the plate. He struck out looking in the 2nd inning. And McCambly back out of the set. Checks over at first base. Kicks and deals. First pitch curveball is a strike. 0-1. The Kettleers scored 4 runs in the last inning, 3 of them thanks to Parker Shavers and 1 on a base hit off the bat of Mason McCorder. Just 2 hits as opposed to Hyannis' 4. But Hyannis only has 1 run to show for it so far. The 0-1 pitch. Another curveball. That one's a strike. Way ahead 0-2. Goodman a modest lead over at first. McCambly kicks and deals the 0-2, a fastball that just misses low. Still sitting in the mid-90s is McCambly. That was 94 on the gun on that 0-2 fastball. Now it's 1-2. Chad McDaniel on deck. A beautiful day here at Lowell Park on a Monday. A nice crowd for a makeup game. Coach Roberts said in the pregame interview he's a little nervous about what the turnout would be. I'm sure he's pleasantly surprised as Carlson spoils a curveball, and it just nicks Pasek, who walks it off down the third base line. Ronaldo Kukram will walk a ball out over to the pitcher McCambly and give Pasek a second to gather his composure. Not a cloud in the sky. Can't draw up a much better day for some baseball. 75. Not much wind. It looks like the report is it's going to be that way the rest of the week, especially for the 4th of July family fun day on Thursday. We'll have the parade at 11 in the morning, which will feed right into Lowell Park. We'll have a hitting competition and, of course, a Kettleers ball game. They'll take on Falmouth. The 1-2 pitch. Grounder out to Oviedo. This could be 2. The flip to Gonzalez. Turn over to first. McCorder a big stretch. And they're able to get a double play. 6-4-3. And there's 2 outs here in the 5th.
Good job by the middle of the Kettleer infield. That's another good double play from them. We saw it last night. Adam Oviedo and Nick Gonzalez have developed a good rapport between each other in turning that double play. And a good play at the end of it by Mason McWhorter, who was able to stab a wayward throw to his right to preserve it.
The first pitch to Chad McDaniel, the left-handed hitting catcher. It's a called strike. McDaniel from Parkland, Florida, went to Stoneman Douglas High School, alma mater of Anthony Rizzo. Line drive out into right field. Shavers gives chase, and it'll be over his head into the wall. That'll be extra bases. McDaniels will cruise into second base with a stand-up double.
Tough play. McDaniel put a lot of power into that baseball. I thought Shavers might have had a chance if he would have extended his arm. Maybe that's just our depth perception here in the booth. I can't speak for him. He gave good effort and hustled towards it, but was almost able to make that one in the gap, battling the sun with the shades on.
We've seen the sun be a factor so far today. We mentioned no clouds in the sky and not much shade provided by nature. And a lot of sunglasses the light glaring off of them and a lot of gloves blocking the sun so far. That pickoff gets past Oviedo at second, and McDaniel will advance to third as the ball trickles into center field. It's the second time we've seen a inside move thrown away into center field. The first time McCambly was able to get away with it with the runner not advancing. This time Hyannis able to take advantage and advance to third base, but there's still 2 outs here. Need a base hit to score the runner McDaniel on third. It's the leadoff hitter Jackson Olsen. First pitch curveball, he swings through it, strike 1. McCambly starting to show a feel for that off-speed pitch now in his 5th inning of work.
It's good to see another Kettleers starter venture into the 5th inning. Reed Johnston did it, and we saw Jackson Wolf do it again last night.
The 0-1 curveball backdoors him, strike 2.
The other thing for the Kettleers in this inning, though, is the defense. 2 errors already after that pickoff move into center. You have to tighten it up. Can't give out these free passes to a team like Hyannis that'll stick around.
A dribbler out by the mound. McCambly flips it over to first for the 3rd out of the inning, so he's able to strand McDaniel on third. And it's still 4-1 in favor of Cotuit. They'll try to add more as we go into the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Pitches for Dayton. He stands at 6'8" up there on the mound, 250 pounds, a senior, making his 2nd appearance of the summer for Hyannis. He's pitched just 1 inning of scoreless ball, struck out 1 and gave up 1 hit against Harwich on June 23rd. First pitch to Adam Oviedo is a fastball, misses up, ball 1. Pletka, in 14 appearances, was 4-3 with a 4.79 ERA. He struck out 81 in just 56 innings. He's behind Adam Oviedo, 2-0, the 8-hitter. And it's Cody Pasek, the 9-hitter, and will flip it back over to the top of the order with Nick Gonzalez. The 2-0 from Pletka. Misses down and away. He's behind 3-0. Pletka out of the windup. He crouches, just bends at the knees right before he starts his windup. He kicks and deals the 3-0. Misses up and in, ball 4. 4 straight balls for Pletka to his first batter, Oviedo, and now he'll face the 9-hitter, Cody Pasek.
I've never seen anything like that in my life for a windup or a pitching delivery.
It's very unique. You see the 6'8" right-hander bend down at the knees a little bit just before he starts his windup, maybe to get into an athletic stance, get more in his legs. Now he's out of the stretch. We'll see if he does anything unique there. Looks pretty pedestrian so far as he comes set at the belt, turns around and picks off over to first, Oviedo back. Pletka would actually be tied for the tallest pitcher in the MLB if he was in the bigs right now with Dylan Betances, who's 6'8". Of course, John Roush, the reliever, a long time held that title, standing at 6'11", the tallest pitcher in MLB history. A bunt down the third base line, just foul off the bat of Pasek. John Roush was the tallest pitcher since Randy Johnson, and actually had him beat by about an inch and a half. Still no 7-footer in baseball history. John Roush the closest at 6'11". And this is a Hyannis roster that's stacked with tall right-handed pitchers. About 4 pitchers over the height of 6'6". Pick off over to first. Back easily is Oviedo. You'd think they'd have a good basketball team out of this Harbor Hawks roster. Cody Pasek behind 0-1 as he fouled off the bunt. DeSantolo in on the grass at third. Rest of the infield plays straight up. A bunt right back at the pitcher, who goes to second base and gets the lead out. They'll try and turn it over to first, but Pasek just able to beat it out, but he's not able to do his job and sacrifice Oviedo over.
Speaking of the tall pitcher's arm, I'm just thinking of John Axford is the first guy that comes to mind for me because he's a Cotuit and Hyannis alum. He pitched for the Harbor Hawks in 02, Kettleers in 03, and he obviously went on to a long major league career as a reliever too, 6'5", and he looked a little taller than that just because he was so lanky.
First pitch fastball misses away to the leadoff hitter, Nick Gonzalez. It's amazing. Axford wouldn't be near the tallest player on this Hyannis ball club. They've got a pair of righties at 6'8", and 2 more at 6'6". So Pasek replaces Oviedo at first on the failed sacrifice bunt attempt. As Gonzalez fouls one off, it's 1-1. Gonzalez extended his on-base streak to 16 in the 4th inning with a walk. He later scored on a single off the bat of Mason McWhorter, then 3 more on the 3-run shot from Parker Chavers. So far, it's been a struggle for Pletka to find the strike zone. He walked Oviedo on 4 straight pitches. He was able to get an out on a failed bunt attempt from Pasek. And now he's behind 2-1 on Nick Gonzalez, the leadoff hitter for the Kettleers. He comes set right at the belt. Another pickoff over to first. Just able to snag it as Carlson making a leaping grab.
Coach Dan Huff over in the first base coaching box. He's back there after getting back from his wedding. Shout out to Ken Jarrett, who held down the fort for the last few games. He would have been right in the line of fire if it wasn't for Carlson snagging that thing out of the air.
A nice grab by Carlson to keep Pasek at first. It's still 2-1. Fouled straight back, so it's 2-2. 93 on the gun from the big right-handed pitching Pletka. Pasek, the catcher, not much of a threat to run at first base. Still yet to record a stolen base this season, but Pletka still wanting to be safe, holding him on. He's already picked off three times over. It's a ground ball foul down the third base line. It's still 2-2. Gonzalez continues to stay alive. Gonzalez was 1 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. Had one of the Kettleers' 3 hits. In that ball game at Spillane Field, a 1-0 loss at the hands of the Gatemen. And now trail a game and a half in the West Division. The 2-2 pitch, curveball, a late swing from Gonzalez, and it gets by him for strike 3. A rare strikeout from Nick Gonzalez, now 2 away. And Casey Schmidt will try to keep the inning going with Cody Pasek on first base.
Not too often that you get a strikeout, Nick Gonzalez, but Pletka just did it. Popped a curveball right out of his hand. Weird looking pitch, and unfortunately, Nick wasn't able to make any contact on it.
So Casey Schmidt now at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Takes a first pitch curveball that bends down to the ankles, ball 1. Schmidt came into today's ball game hitting just 167. Just 7 for 42. And a pair of home runs and 6 RBI. He's only struck out 7 times this season. Just hasn't been able to find the holes. As that ball gets past McDaniel, and Pasek will be able to get into scoring position. So a runner on second and 2 outs. A 2-0 count to Casey Schmidt. And the Kettleers have not been bad with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Coming into today, 246, a pretty good clip. They've driven in 26 runs in this exact situation. Schmidt trying to make it 27, ahead 2-0. Pasek the runner on second. And he pops one up. We'll see if it stays in play. It does not. It'll get over by the third base grandstand, so it's 2-1. That's the first strike to Casey Schmidt on a foul ball. Kettleers lead 4-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. Only a pair of hits, but 4 runs to show for it thanks to Parker Shaver's 3-run bomb. He golfed over the bullpen out there by Hyannis in right field. Kettleers looking to add more with a runner in scoring position here, 2 outs. Schmidt still ahead, 2-1. On deck is Dante Williams, the 3-hitter today. Pletka comes set, kicks and deals, and that's lifted out into center field. Back is Jordan. He gives chase, and that ball is off the wall. Scoring is Pasek, and Schmidt's into second easily with a stand-up double. It's a straightaway center field.
Casey Schmidt lumbered that one up, got it right in the sweet spot with a 2-1 count, and was able to drive it into that left center gap. Good, productive 2-out hitting today by the Kettleers. All 5 runs for Cotuit coming home with 2 outs in an inning so far.
Now Dante Williams. He worked a great at-bat in the 4th inning. Part of that 4-run 4th inning. He worked a full count and eventually walked after fouling off a slew of pitches from then Nick Mondak, the starter. Now Casey Schmidt replaces Pasek at second. First pitch to Dante Williams is a curveball that misses away. So now 5-1 in favor of Cotuit. Still in the bottom of the 5th here, Dante Williams trying to keep the train moving. The 1-0 pitch, fastball, just below the knees, ball 2. 96 on the gun from Pletka. On deck is a Rajanu. He's 0 for 2 in this ball game. Dante Williams will try and get him to the plate. He's ahead 2-0. He swings and foul tips a fastball into the glove of Chad McDaniel. Williams has a couple words with the home plate umpire, Ronaldo Cuckram. Not sure what they're talking about as he pulled the trigger on that one.
They've kind of been going back and forth all game in a friendly way. Remember his last at-bat, he checked his swing, and it was clear that he went around, but he wanted an appeal.
And Cuckram didn't give it to him. He called it himself. He said he went. Now it's 2-1 to Williams. Another curveball. This time it backdoors him and gets the corner. So it's 2-2. Williams didn't like it. Showing his frustration a little bit, but he takes a deep breath, takes a stare at his black wood bat. Steps back in to the batter's box and gets ready for the 2-2 pitch with 2 outs and a runner on second. Pletka comes set quickly, takes a look over at second, kicks and deals. A curveball that misses down and in. Just able to get smothered by McDaniel and keep Casey Schmidt over at second base. Another full count for Dante Williams. He walked last time he was in this situation. We'll await the payoff pitch here from Pletka. Pletka shakes off a couple signs. Finally agrees, comes set, slightly closed with the glove at the belt. Kicks and deals the payoff pitch. Spoiled away by Williams. We'll do 3-2 again. First look we've gotten at Williams in the 3-hole. We've seen him in the leadoff spot. We've seen him in the 9 spot. Just about everywhere else besides the middle of the order. Coach Roberts known to shake things up in his lineups. This has to be one of the more unique ones we've seen so far this season. Long look down from Pletka, and he'll step off as Williams calls for time. Sun just starting to hide behind the trees now, behind the third base grandstand as shadows start to cast across the infield and past the pitcher's mound. Pletka covered in shade. The payoff pitch again. Grounded up the middle off the foot of Pletka. It'll kick over to the shortstop. Olsen will have no play. He throws it back to third and tries to get Schmidt. But the tag is not in time. As the infield started running off, they thought they had him. That's an infield single for Dante Williams. And that brings up a Rajanu with runners on the corner. So Williams grounded one back up at Pletka. He made a little soccer move to kick it. And went over to the shortstop Olsen, who saw Casey Schmidt coming around third with a big turn, tried to throw it behind him, but the tag just didn't get there in time.
You know what? I love that from Olsen. His reaction after that was awesome. He's just having fun out there. Close play over there at third base. Love that kind of backyard baseball field.
And a smart heads-up play there by Olsen to try and steal an out. But now it's runners on the corners for the cleanup hitter, Rajanu, as Dante Williams is on the move. The throw to second is not in time, and it gets into right field, and Casey Schmidt will score for the 6th run of the ball game. So a good job by Dante Williams to swipe second base. The throw short hopped the shortstop in Olsen and got by him into center field. Schmidt was able to walk into home plate easily. And it's now 6-1, and Williams knocks second base out of its hole over there. The second time we've seen it happen, and Coach Ken Jarrett will have to run out there and remedy the situation.
Ken Jarrett, the surgeon. Oh, I love it. Let's see if he can wrap it up in record time. Good rally by the Kettleers. They never really flinched after starting on pretty slow against Mondak, the starter for Hyannis. Obviously put up the 4 runs in the 4th with the Chavers 3-run bomb. And then 2 more coming home with 2 outs in the 5th. Forcing the hand of Hyannis. That's the first error on the day with a bad throw from McDaniel. First and third situation. I was surprised that he threw it in the first place, but I get it. They were trying to get an out when they needed it, and just the lack of execution allows the Kettleers to put another one home to lead 6-1.
And not much help from his shortstop Olsen, who could have bodied that one up and kept it from going into center field. So now another runner in scoring position. The Kettleers keep doing damage with 2 outs. All 6 runs scored in this ball game with 2 away. And Rajanu tries to make it 7, looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2. 1-0 pitch misses up and out. Ball 2. We talked about how it's been a tough go for Anu. Just 1 for his last 28. That one hit, of course, was a triple against Wareham to put them up. But it's been tough going all around that one hit. Well, it's softly lifted into left field. It should be playable. Ranging over is Haver. And he makes the grab. But not before the Kettleers add 2 more. It's now 6-1 in favor of Cotuit here at Lowell Park. We'll go into the top of the 6th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
over Hyannis 6-1 in the top of the 6th inning. And a new pitcher out of the pen for Cotuit, Chris Holcomb, the left-hander from Tulane, a native of Marston's Mills, just up the road, 6'3", 190. 1-0 with a 1.28 earned run average. It's his 5th appearance on the summer arm. He's been pretty darn impressive as a crafty lefty out of the Kettleer pen, and he faces 2, 3, and 4 in the Hyannis order, beginning with Rowdy Jordan.
He's shown a great feel for the curveball all season long, a slow bender that barely touches 70, but a really sharp break to it, and it sets up his fastball really well.
Here's Rowdy Jordan 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and Holcomb deals in a fastball at the shins, ball 1. Cotuit leads by 5, 6-1. All 6 runs coming with 2 outs in this game. 4 runs in the 4th, highlighted by the 3-run rocket to right field by Parker Chavers. And 2 more in the last, bottom of the 5th. Fastball on the upper outside corner, called for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jordan. RBI double by Casey Schmidt scored the 5th run for Cotuit, and then he came home to score on a throwing error by the catcher into center field. 1-1, nip back foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jordan. Jordan, a right-handed bat, center fielder for Hyannis. Holcomb last pitched back on June the 22nd. That was last Saturday at Harwich. That game seems like forever ago. Went 3 scoreless innings, only allowing 2 hits, 2 walks, and a couple strikeouts. 1-2 curveball in the dirt, and gets back to the backstop, 2-2. Holcomb's signature look to go along with his signature breaking ball. Long locks out of his maroon Cotuit Cat. And the rec specs on as well. And the high socks. 2-2. Fastball roped to third and caught on a line by Casey Schmidt for out number 1. Jordan lines out to third. Leadoff man retired here in the top of the 6th. Nobody aboard, and Trevor Hauver back at the plate. Hauver, a left-handed batting left fielder, 1 for 2 with a single and a stolen base today. Holcomb delivers a breaking ball, low in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. 66 miles an hour on that last bender. Sun starting to go down at Cotuit. Shadows across the left side of the diamond. 1-0 fastball, just on the inner half of the plate, but ball 2. 2-0 on Hauver. Base is empty with 1 out. Kettleers lead 6-1 in the 6th. 2-0. Fastball low and away, 3-0. This is the local pitching duo and catching duo right now. Holcomb from Marston's Mills. Pasek, the catcher from Cotuit. 3-0. Fastball called for a ball on the inside corner. A 4-pitch walk for Holcomb, and Hauver's aboard with 1 out in the 6th.
Not what you want when you're pitching with the lead. Just go right after the strike zone. You saw what happened with the line drive right at Casey Schmidt. Just got to find a way to make them get themselves out. Walks are the only way you can blow a 5-run lead.
It's the first walk by the Cotuit staff today. Zach McCambly, and his 5 innings of a start, did not walk anybody. And now it's the cleanup batter, Jared DeSantolo. 1 for 2 with a strikeout his last time up. Hauver on first, held on by McWhorter, and time called behind home plate by Cody Pasek before a throw over. Cotuit ahead 6-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Hauver the base runner with a 1-out walk. DeSantolo singled back in the 2nd and scored the only run of the day for Hyannis. Holcomb out of the stretch, half of a leg lift and another pick over to first. Cotuit sets the middle of the infield, ready for a double play ball. They've already turned 1-6-4-3 back in the 5th. Holcomb closed out of the stretch, now to the plate. High fastball, ball 1. Casey Schmidt plays in line of 2nd and 3rd at third base. Outfield plays straight up. Holcomb already looking in, offset to the third base side of the rubber for the sign. He gets it from Pasek, now he's set. Long stare over to Hauver, the 1-0. Fastball upstairs again, 2-0 on DeSantolo. Cotuit started off slow. Hyannis got out to a 1-0 lead in the second. Kettleers have scored 6 unanswered. Top of 6, 1 on and 1 out, and another throw over to check on Hauver. Parker Chavers with a 3-run home run, his second of the summer. Casey Schmidt with an RBI double back in the 5th to lead the charge. 2-0 on DeSantelo, and a fastball right down the pipe for a called strike. Quiet crowd at Lowell Park, but a good crowd considering this is a makeup game. First of 3 contests throughout the week at Lowell Park on this 4th of July week. It is going to be a lot of fun on Thursday. 2-1. Fastball in the dirt. Good scoop by Pasek, who sheds the mask. Hauver stays put at first base, but it's a 3-1 count on DeSantelo. Kettleers' annual 4th of July Family Fun Day at Lowell Park. That is immediately after the Cotuit 4th of July Parade, which begins at 11 a.m. If you come down School Street and see Mike Roberts' cottage, the little sign outside of his cottage for the parade says, "Get here early." Fastball by Holcomb called for a strike at the thighs, and that loads up the count on DeSantelo. That 4th of July parade will be quite the spectacle. If you are in town and you've never seen it before, one of the biggest patriotic events that you will ever see. Tons of red, white, and blue, and just a really good time. 3-2. Fastball low at the shins, ball 4. Holcomb has walked back-to-back with 1 out, and Hyannis has a little something cooking in the visiting half of the 6th. First and second, and Lucas Dunn due up. Cody Pasek goes out onto the mound to meet with his lefty and Holcomb. What do you think they're talking about here to try and sort this out?
Just trying to calm him down, like I was saying before, when you're pitching with the lead. Just throw strikes. You got your defense behind you. A base hit isn't the worst thing in the world with nobody on. The only way you can really bite yourself in the back is when you start putting runners on without them earning it, and then one swing of the bat clears the bases, and all of a sudden Hyannis is right back in this ball game.
Lucas Dunn, the second baseman out of Louisville, 1 for 2 today. Popped out to first base his last time up in the 4th. He won't see a pitch for the moment. Mike Roberts comes out of the dugout, a slow walk into the shadows of the infield, and it looks like he wants to meet with his battery and the infield here. No signal to the bullpen yet. Roberts out with his arms folded over his chest to meet with Chris Holcomb, Cody Pasek, and company. Kettleers on top 6-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Runners on first and second after back-to-back walks by Chris Holcomb. No pitching change yet, but it looks like Kyle Nicholas is the man getting loose in the Kettleer pen up the left field line. Hard-throwing right-hander from Ball State. Ronaldo Cuckrum comes out from behind home plate. The umpire looks to speed things up a little bit in this meeting. He's right behind Mike Roberts, who's still talking. That's it for the mound visit. Mike Roberts with a little bit of a friendly word with Ronaldo, the home plate umpire. They're good. That's a mound meeting in the books. They keep track of that now here in the Cape League. And we'll look to resume play. Kettleers ahead 6-1. Dunn, the second baseman, bats from the right side, does a forward fold and stretches out the hammies. Now he's loose to get back into the batter's box. Chris Holcomb looking for some control and for the sign from Pasek. First and second, 1 out. Nobody holding on the runners. Infield at double play depth. Chris set, closed off from the stretch. First pitch curveball. Sweeps in there for a called strike. Some wicked bend on that last one.
It's impossible to pull the trigger on that if you're the hitter. A first pitch curveball that bends, it looks like it's going to be over your head and drops right back into the strike zone.
No balls and 1 strike on Dunn. He crowds the plate from the right side. 0-1. Fastball low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rowdy Jordan began the inning with a line out to third base. Trevor Hauver walked, and then Jared DeSantelo also walked. First and second for Hyannis with only 1 gone in the visiting half of the 6th. 6-1 Cotuit. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball inside. Did it hit the batter? Yes, it did. Lucas Dunn, a hit batsman, on a 1-1 curveball that gets away from Holcomb. Base is now loaded for Hyannis with only 1 out in the 6th, and Mitch McIntyre due up.
It looks like Holcomb's just struggling to find the strike zone. He's tried going to the fastball early, not being able to locate that. He's going to the curveball now, and he plunks, done with it. And that looks like his night's going to be over.
Looks like it. Mike Roberts comes back out of the dugout for a second time in just about 2 minutes. And it looks like Kyle Nicholas is set to come out of the bullpen for the Kettleers. Well, Chris Holcomb starts things off. He gets the leadoff batter, but he allows the next 3 to reach base. 2 walks and a hit batsman, and Hyannis has a chance to climb back into this one. Base is loaded with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Kettleers still have the lead. 6-1. We'll be right back in just a moment with the new pitcher. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
1, 2, 3.
One out and the base is loaded in the top of the 6th inning. Kyle Nicholas comes out of the pen, a right-hander from Ball State. No record with a 4.15 earned run average. It's his 5th appearance on the season. 8 2/3 innings tossed so far. He has walked 6 and struck out 12. Coming off of his toughest outing of the season, he had been really good up until that point. It was last Wednesday against Orleans in the 3-3 tie. Only went an inning and 2/3 and gave up 3 runs while walking 4. That was a standout number. He inherits a tough situation here. Kettleers ahead, 6-1. Bases loaded with 1 out, and Mitch McIntyre, a left-handed bat at the plate. Nicholas throws a fastball outside, ball 1. Chris Holcomb exits the game, only going a third of an inning. His line isn't finished yet. He's responsible for all 3 base runners on. Nicholas works out of the stretch. He's ready at his chest. 1-0. Fastball zipped in at the shins, 93 miles an hour, but it's a ball, 2-0. McIntyre's 0 for 2 today. Flew out to center field in the 2nd and grounded to second base in the 4th.
And he's sitting all over a fastball right now. He pretty much sitting dead red with a 5-run deficit, and the base is loaded.
2-0 fastball spotted on the outside corner for a strike, 2-1.
Looked like he might have been taken all the way there with 3 straight free passes, but now he's got the green light rather.
Bases full of Harbor Hawks. First, second, and third with 1 out. Kettleers lead 6-1. 2-1 from Nicholas. Breaking ball, tailed, left center gap. Williams coming over. Same thing with Hill, and Hill makes the catch for out number 2. His throw won't be in time. Hyannis is able to get another run in. It's a sac fly by Mitch McIntyre to plate Trevor Hauber, and that makes it a 6-2 ball game with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
It looked like a lack of communication there in the outfield. Fortunate to avoid a collision. The center fielder, Dante Williams, thought he had it. Cam Hill cut him off and made the grab, but of course the center fielder presides over the entire outfield. He's supposed to be able to call anyone off, but nonetheless good focus by Cam Hill to stick with it and avoid Dante Williams, who was charging right at him.
Hunter Goodman's a designated hitter, and he steps back in. He hits from the right side with first and second and 2 away. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. No balls and 1 strike. Goodman produced the first run of the day with an RBI sac fly to right in the second. Hyannis led 1-0 then. Kettleers rattled off 6 unanswered runs. Now Hyannis has one back here in the top of the 6th with another sac fly by McIntyre. 96-mile-an-hour fastball hit on the inside corner for strike 2. Dunn, the runner on second base. DeSantolo off, or Dunn on first base, and DeSantolo off second base. 2 outs. Kettleers by 4. 0-2. Wave and a miss. Got him to chase on a slider with some bite. And Nicholas finishes up the job out of the bullpen with a strikeout. And we are done with the top of the 6th inning. Hyannis gets 1 run back on no hits, no errors, and a couple left. And we are on to the bottom of 6. Kettleers lead at 6-2 on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers at the plate. Bottom of the 6th inning. Cotuit 6 and Hyannis 2. It's Mason McWhorter, then Parker Chavers and Cam Hill. 5, 6, and 7 due up in the Kettleer order. Cole Pletka, the right-hander out of Dayton, still on the mound. And he zings the knees into the windup and deals a fastball down and away for ball 1. Sam Niederman, arm Layton. Josh Rothstein, Jacob Cohen in the director's chair at the moment. Glad that you could have us be along with us here on our broadcast this Monday afternoon. We are in the Arnold Mycock press box behind home plate. Or you might be joining us, whether it's on Mixlr.com, YouTube, or Channel 99 here on Cape Cod. 1 ball and 1 strike on McWhorter, and he calls for time. 1 for 2 today. RBI single and a run scored back in the 4th. That sparked the Cotuit scoring. It tied the game up initially 1-1 at the time. 1-1. Fastball right down the pipe, 91 miles an hour for a strike, 1-2. Kettleers added 3 more in that inning with a Chavers home run, 2 more in the 5th. Hyannis got 1 back in the 6th on the sac fly by McIntyre. 1-2. Slider down and out, 2-2 on McWhorter. Pletka's 2-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball outside. Mason McWhorter strikes out to lead off the bottom of the 6th. And here comes Parker Chavers with 1 down and nobody aboard. Cole Pletka came on to work the bottom of the 5th inning. Gave up the couple of runs. One an RBI double by Casey Schmidt, and then the error by his catcher and McDaniel, bringing home Schmidt for the 2nd run. Here's Parker Chavers, and he takes a breaking pitch in the dirt, 1-0. 1 for 2 with a 3-run bomb back in the fourth, his second of the season. He put it on a rocket ship over the right field fence, no doubt about it. That came up against Joe Quintal. 1-0 pitch, spoiled away on the left side, 1-1. Chavers, a right fielder from Coastal Carolina, native of Montgomery, Alabama. Base is empty with 1 away. Pletka the windup in the 1-1. Breaking ball, turned on the ground to second. Dunn's there to make the play for out number 2. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wind up the way that Cole Pletka does.
It's really unique, and he also gets on a little bit of a rhythm there, where you'll see him step back, take 3 little hesitation steps, and use his momentum into his leg kick. He's 6'8". He's a lot of body to control. Might help him a little bit, crouching down and getting more into his legs.
Cam Hill 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 2 outs and the base is empty. Pletka the windup and a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike. I have not seen anything like it. But it works for him. The big right-hander straight up on the rubber. Bends the knees, hinges the hips, and delivers a fastball in the dirt, 1-1. And he's a pretty deep knee bend. And then he works through that angled knee bend throughout the rest of his windup. One more time. He's got the glove at the belt, looks in, hinges over, leg lift in the 1-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 93 miles an hour. That's the other thing. He gets a lot of velocity behind that 6'8" frame.
It's a very easy mid-90s fastball. You mentioned the big frame. It almost looks effortless. Figure he might have a lot more in that arm, and that probably excites a lot of pro scouts looking at this 6'8" right-handed pitcher.
1-2 curve just off the plate despite a decent frame by McDaniel. 2-2. Cotuit's on top, 6-2 in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs and the base is empty for Cam Hill. The 4-run fourth by the Kettleers. That's the difference. All 6 runs for Cotuit scored with 2 outs in this one. 2-2. Curveball on the outside corner for a strike 3 called. Cole Pletka gets Cam Hill looking. That is his 3rd strikeout of this afternoon, and retires the side here in the home after the 6th. No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base for the Kettleers. We'll be back in just a moment. Top of the 7th coming up. Cotuit 6 and Hyannis 2 in a Patriot Cup matchup on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Away, Lenny Kravitz, top of the 7th at Lowell Park. 6-2 Kettleers over Hyannis. And the bottom of the order due up next for Hyannis, Brooks Carlson, Chad McDaniel. And then back to the top with Jackson Olsen, 8-9-1. Sam Niederman, Arm Layton, glad you're along with us on a Monday night. Arm, you doing all right, man?
Doing well. Nice little bounce back from the Kettleers so far after getting shut out yesterday. Nice to see the offense open up, but still only 4 hits on the afternoon. Living and dying by the long ball. It's been the theme all year.
Kettleers getting their 16th home run of the summer. Parker Chavers a big 3-run blast. Brooks Carlson says the first pitch that he sees, deep to right and gone. Oh my goodness, that one was kind of poked off the end of the bat, but Carlson takes it for a ride and sends a solo shot over the right field fence to make it a 6-3 game in the 7th.
And that's what happens when you have a high-velocity pitcher on the mound. Sometimes you just have to let him supply the power and barrel it up, and he basically flicked that over the wall into right field, turning around a mid-90s fastball from Kyle Nicholas.
Brooks Carlson, a solo home run to cut the lead back to 3. Cotuit still leads at 6-3, but it gives Hyannis a little bonus here. 1 pitch, 1 run, still nobody out and nobody aboard. The number 9 batter, Chad McDaniel, swings through strike 1. McDaniel 1 for 2 with a double today. He was stranded at third base back in the 5th. 0-1, opposite field poke. Hill comes in and is able to make the catch for out number 1. 3 pitches and 1 out for Kyle Nicholas. And back to the top of the Hyannis order, Jackson Olsen, the shortstop. He's 1 for 3. That's just the 5th hit that Nicholas has allowed all season long through nearly 10 innings. Brooks Carlson comes up with an opposite field home run to right. 6-3 Kettleers, 1 out, and the base is empty. Olsen climbs back in for the left side and takes a fastball on the outside corner, 95 miles an hour for a strike. Nicholas winds up, rocks back. Here's his 0-1. Breaking ball low at the ankles, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sun already setting down at Lowell Park. We are 2 hours and change into this one. Second of 6 total meetings between these rivals. 1-1. Fastball lifted, foul on the left side, 97 on the radar gun from Nicholas. He's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cotuit looking to secure a 2-0 lead in the Patriot Cup rivalry series over Hyannis. 1-2 fastball, spiked it at 55 feet, level count, 2-2. Kettleers in the home white pinstripes. Maroon letters and numbers, maroon caps with a silver C on the front. Hyannis in the blue tops on white pants, trimmed in orange. 2-2. Fastball, laser, left field line, that's fair. Could be extra bases for Olsen. He rounds first. Hill's got it in the left field corner. And it's a 1-out double for Jackson Olsen to get Hyannis with a little spark here in the top of the 7th.
They've been all over Nicholas so far, just flicking the bat and driving it the other way. We saw 2 lefties hit shots over to left field, and now, of course, the right-handed hitter, Carlson, who flicked the home run over the right field wall. Sometimes if it's 95, it doesn't matter if it's flat and you're not locating your off-speed, and so far this is the most we've seen Nicholas get hit in this summer.
Time called. It looks like Jackson Olsen at second base has something in his eye. Chad Gassman, the third base coach and manager for Hyannis, goes out there to check on his shortstop. Looks like he's all right. Never want to see that after a headfirst slide or anything like that. The dirt kicks up, and it's never a good feeling. Remember when you used to do labs in science class, and if there was ever a chemical that got in your eye, you'd have to go to the eye washing station?
It was always my biggest fear.
Yeah, I never had to do it. Spin back move by Nicholas to look at Olsen at second, and a high throw picked out of the air by Oviedo. I never got to witness it. Did you ever witness anybody?
No, fortunately, no.
I feel like that'd be a fiasco.
Flood the whole classroom.
Yeah. Comment on the broadcast. Has that ever happened to you? There's a ball in the dirt. Rowdy Jordan's the batter. Left-handed batting center fielder 0 for 3 with a line out to third base his last time up in the 6th inning.
Nicholas continues to spike that slider. Not really showing a feel for the off-speed, and that's why Hyannis is all over his fastball. It's a thing in the Cape League. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. It's hard to blow by these top hitters in the country, as he does there, though.
He got it by him. 94 on the outside corner. Swing and a miss by Jordan. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kettleers up 6-3 in the top of the 7th. 1 run home in this inning. Carlson, the home run to lead it off. Olson on second. 1 out. Nicholas, the 1-1. Breaking ball. Tap foul on the right side. 1-2. It's a Western Division festival for the Kettleers this week. Bourne at home tomorrow. Falmouth on the road on Wednesday. Falmouth at home for the 4th of July. We're at Hyannis on Friday. And then a little break from the division on Saturday with Chatham at home. And then a road trip to Bourne to cap off the week on Sunday.
And we just finished up a pair of games against Wareham.
1-2. Wave and a miss at a slider in the dirt. Blocked by Pasek. He looks back to second, then throws down to first to secure the strikeout. And out number 2 here in the 7th.
A really good opportunity this next week as you go through all the games to separate, for the Kettleers to separate themselves from the rest of the division and keep it where it's just Wareham, the Kettleers, and then everyone else.
Cotuit's a game and a half down at Wareham for first place. The Gatemen improved to 9-6-1 with a win over Cotuit last night, 19 points. Kettleers at 7-7-2 right now, just 3 points back. And a chance to keep that pace with a win today. Here's Trevor Hauber, and he takes a fastball at the shins, strike 1. 6-3 Kettleers, top of the 7th, man on second base with 1 out, or 2 outs rather. Hauber at the plate, he has reached twice, 1 for 2 with a single, a walk, and a run scored. Nicholas, the 0-1. Slider low and in. Good scoot by Pasek to keep it out and get it into his glove. 1 ball and 1 strike.
An opportunity for the Kettleers to gain a little bit on the Gatemen. They're losing 3-1 at Bourne. Of course, still a lot of time in that ball game. It's only the top of the 5th. It could be a good opportunity to pick up a game.
Maybe the Braves can help out the Kettleers at Doran Park. Olson off second, shaded by Oviedo. 2 outs in the 7th, 6-3 Cotuit. 1-1 home. Hauber lasers it deep left field. Hill tracking to the line, and he's able to make the catch for out number 3. Well, Hyannis gets 1 here in the 7th inning. A leadoff home run by Brooks Carlson, but that's all that they get. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left in scoring position. And we are on to the bottom of the 7th inning. Kettleers lead Hyannis 6-3. New pitcher on for Hyannis. It is a right-hander, Alex Garbrick from Morehead State University. A native of Pennsylvania, 6'2", 200 pounds, a junior. It is his 3rd appearance on the summer, 0-1 with a sky-high 13.50 earned run average. Last pitched on the 23rd against Harwich, only lasted 1 inning. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, faced 6 batters, didn't walk anybody, didn't strike anybody out. And the bottom of the Cotuit order gets a chance against him, 8-9-1. Oviedo, Pasek, and then back to the leadoff man, Nick Gonzalez. So the Kettleers have a chance to extend on their 3-run advantage. Hyannis got one back at the top of the 7th inning. Brooks Carlson with a home run to right field. Cotuit with 6 runs on just 4 hits, and they've dodged the 2 errors. Both of those came back in the 5th inning. Hyannis didn't score anything in that inning. Parker Chavers a big 3-run home run in the 4th. Mason McWhorter an RBI single. That made it 4-1 Kettleers after 4 innings of play. Casey Schmidt had an RBI double and scored on an error back at the 5th. Adam Oviedo fouls off strike 1 at home plate. 95 miles an hour from that last fastball for the right hand of Alex Garbrick. Hyannis has scored 2 unanswered after the sac fly back at the 6th, and then the home run here in this 7th inning. Oviedo's 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk his last time up. 0-1 pitch. Looping slider out of the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wind up for Garbrick. Here's a 1-1. Fastball out, 2-1. The sun is behind the trees on the third base side. Soft blue sky above, fading into a very off-white color beyond the trees in the outfield. No wind. American flag at a standstill in left center. Another fastball foul for Oviedo, 2-2. Hyannis, the worst team in the Western Division at 3-11-1. Kettleers trying to chase down Wareham in second at 7-7-2. Garbrick a slow windup. Here's a 2-2. Curveball down and away. 3-2 on Oviedo. These two Barnstable rivals battling it out for the 16th Barnstable Patriot Cup. Kettleers looking to repeat and make it 8 in the last 9 seasons. Garbrick the 3-2. Fastball, check swing. Did he go? Did not go, according to Brian Troop, the first base umpire. And Adam Oviedo, is able to work his second walk of this contest. He's aboard to lay things off in the bottom of the 7th. Alex Garbrick, the man on the mound, now has to work out of the stretch. Cody Pasek back at the plate. 0 for 2. Scored a run his last time up in the 5th. Pitch 1. Pasek shows bunt and brings it back, but it's a called strike on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 0-1.
Pasek gets a shot at redemption here. Was not able to sacrifice the runner over earlier in the ball game. Bunted it right back to the pitcher, and they were able to gun down the leadoff runner. Likely scoring again here.
Oviedo off first, held on by the first baseman Carlson. And a throw over from Garbrick. DeSantolo plays just on the edge of the instep at third base. Now takes a couple of more shuffles into the grass. Pasek shows bunt, brings it back. Breaking ball in the dirt, dug out by McDaniel. 1 ball and 1 strike. Activity in the Hyannis bullpen. The Harbor Hawks have now used 4 different pitchers, including Garbrick. A right-hander is stretching and tossing. Oviedo leans off first. Double play depth for the infield. Up the middle at least, and a breaking ball runs in on Pasek again. He was able to pull back the bunt in time, 2-1. Kettleers 6, Hyannis 3. Bottom 7, man on first with nobody out. DeSantolo creeps in from third, 2-1. High fastball, and Pasek is able to lean out of the way. It's 3-1.
It's like Garbrick's trying to bust Pasek inside to force him to jam the bunt back up at him, but not able to locate on the inner half. Almost lost that one up and in on him.
Still a sacrifice situation, the 3-1. A bunt, right side, taken by Garbrick off the mound, and he tosses over to first, his only play. Good sacrifice this time from Pasek. That moves the runner up to second in Oviedo. The Kettleers have a runner in scoring position for their top of their lineup in Nick Gonzalez. 1-3 sacrifice to advance the runner. Nick Gonzalez back at the plate, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He has already taken care of his now 17-game on-base streak. He has a chance to extend his team's 3-run lead. Oviedo the lead at second. Dunn holds on a little bit. And a fastball gets past Gonzalez. He swings and misses for strike one. Six-3 Kettleers in the bottom of the seventh. Hyannis got one back in the top of this inning on the Carlson home run. Garbrick from the stretch looks back to second. Now kicks and deals. Fastball out. 1 ball and 1 strike on Gonzalez. Gonzalez a strikeout his last time up in the fifth. That was against Cole Pletka, who beat him with a hard fastball. Almost all of the diamond covered up in the shadows, only right field still in the sun. Man on second with 1 out. Dunn teases to cover at second, and Gonzalez sends one in the air, deep right field near the foul pole, and McIntyre nearly flags it down but wasn't able to get there. It drops down for strike 2. One and 2. This is the beginning of a long gauntlet stretch for the Kettleers. The third consecutive game out of 24 in a row scheduled. That would bring us up to 38 games played out of a 44-game regular season slate. One step at a time. Cotuit by 3, leading 6-3 against Hyannis, bottom of the seventh. Oviedo, the runner at second base with 1 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nick Gonzalez, who pulses his front left foot. Breaking pitch from Garbrick, scoots up the first baseline. McDaniel knocked it down but wasn't able to gather, and Oviedo dusts into third base on a pass ball.
Great dirt ball read there by Oviedo, able to get to third base with just 1 out. That's huge. Now a fly ball scores a run and the infield draws in. Easier for Gonzalez to poke one through.
Hyannis brings the infield in. The Harbor Hawks, who have only won 3 games out of their first 15, know the urgency of this situation. Trying to keep it at a 3-run contest. Kettleers control at 6-3. Man on third with 1 away. 2-2 to Gonzalez. Wave and a miss. Cut him inside with a slider. And Garbrick gets a strikeout of the leadoff man here. 2 down here in the seventh. Rare that you see Nick Gonzalez strike out once in a game, let alone twice, and he's now struck out in back-to-back at-bats. Next up, Casey Schmidt, 1 for 3 with a double, RBI, and a run scored. All that came back in the fifth. Hyannis plays the infield back at normal depth. Garbrick still out of the stretch with Oviedo off third. Schmidt crowds the plate from the right-handed batter's box. First pitch, swing and a miss at a slider. Good off-speed pitch. That's what Garbrick went to get Gonzalez, and he's ahead on Schmidt, 0-1. Cotuit 4 runs in the fourth, 2 runs in the fifth, all of them with 2 outs. Hyannis a run in the second, 6th, and 7th. Garbrick's 0-1. Breaking pitch, down and outside. Check swing from Schmidt did not go around. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kettleers with a 6-3 advantage in the home half of the 7th inning at Lowell Park. Garbrick set, straight up. Look over to third, now to the plate. 1-1 fastball outside, 2-1 on Schmidt. Still a good handful of fans still looking on for the third base side. Oviedo off third, 2-1. Breaking pitch, hit into the air, deep left center field. McIntyre going back, and it's gone. Casey Schmidt with another home run. He makes it happen with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. It's a 2-run blast, second home run of the day for Cotuit, and that puts them with a 5-run gap over Hyannis, 8-3.
Great job by Casey Schmidt. He hit that to the same exact spot he hit his double, just a little bit further. The double hit the mid part of the wall. This time he's able to get it over the wall. And a good job attacking a hanging curveball. We've seen him do that all year. That's been the pitch he's been able to jump on, is those hanging curveballs. And he crushed that out to left center.
Casey Schmidt, a 2-run home run, basically the same exact place, and it gives the Kettleers an 8-3 lead. Here's Dante Williams, first pitch swinging, fly out to left. That'll do it for the inning, but Cotuit tacks on a couple of more. Adam Oviedo worked a leadoff walk, and Casey Schmidt brought him home with a 2-out, 2-run home run. 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. And the Kettleers maintain an 8-3 lead over Hyannis. We're on to the 8th inning of play. Arm Layton with the play-by-play when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Lowell Park, Kettleers give Kyle Nicholas a little bit more breathing room as he only needs 6 more outs to shut the door. It's 8-3 in favor of the Kettleers. Middle of the order for Hyannis, it's Jared DeSantolo, Lucas Dunn, then Mitch McIntyre. Santolo is 1 for 2. He singled and scored in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and walked in the 6th. He takes a first pitch fastball for strike 1. Nicholas has predominantly worked as a closer so far this summer for the Kettleers. Already has 3 saves. We'll see if Coach Roberts sticks with him through the 9th, if he's able to get through this 8th inning. 0-1 pitch curveball just bends inside, 1-1. The sun starts to set behind the trees around Lowell Park. The shadows cast basically covering the entire field, just a little glimmer of light in the far left field corner. 1-1 fastball, 96 on the gun, right down the pike. It's 1-2. Infield plays straight up. Casey Schmidt a little bit to his left in deep third base. Nick Gonzalez on the edge of the right field grass. Fastball up and in. So 2-2 to the cleanup hitter, DeSantolo. Then Lucas Dunn, Mitch McIntyre. 3 runs on 7 hits for Hyannis. 8 runs on 5 hits for Cotuit. As Nicholas misses down and away, it's full. Four of those runs today coming off home runs. A 3-run shot from Shavers and a solo shot from Schmidt. And ball 4 to the leadoff hitter in the 8th inning, Jared DeSantolo. He'll take first base, and Lucas Dunn will stride to the plate, the right-handed hitter. Dunn 1 for 2 as well. He singled right after DeSantolo. in the second inning, back-to-back singles. He grounded out in the fourth and was hit by a pitch in the sixth. Nicholas now out of the stretch, picks off over to first base. He's back easily. Already 5 free passes for the Kettleers in this game. Another pickoff over to first. Coach Roberts mentioned in the pregame interview he really wanted to have his staff focus on throwing strikes. They've struggled with that a little bit today from top to bottom. First pitch to Dunn, misses down and away. 1-0. Nicholas, a guy who can strike out a lot of batters, but control was an issue for him at Ball State. Another curveball misses low, blocked by Pasek. He struck out 78 in just 51 and 2/3 innings, but he also walked 47. Nearly a walk an inning. And Coach Roberts will go talk to his right-handed reliever. We'll see if he sticks with him or if he's just calming him down. A little bit of action in the Kettleers bullpen. There's a couple guys start to stretch and toss, so it looks like Nicholas will remain in for the time being. So it's 8-3 in favor of Cotuit here at Lowell Park on a Monday, a beautiful day. No rain in the forecast for the next few days, something the Cape Cod League needed. Already encroaching on 30 cancellations due to weather in this summer already. It's been a tough go. Coach Roberts called it the worst weather he's seen since 2006. And that's Bo Hofstra warming up in the Kettleers bullpen. Haven't seen him in a week or so. He came out of his last outing with a little bit of arm tightness. Nice to see him back up and throwing. But it's still Nicholas on the mound here trying to record his first out of the 8th inning. He's behind 2-0. Misses inside with a fastball. 3-0 to Lucas Dunn. The 3-0 pitch taking all the way was Dunn, and it misses down and away. So back-to-back walks for Kyle Nicholas here to start off the 8th. First and second, nobody out, and Mitch McIntyre will come to the plate. Mitch McIntyre from BYU, a left-handed hitter. He's a two-way guy for Brigham Young. Also pitched in 17 appearances. He didn't give up a run. And Coach Roberts has seen enough from Kyle Nicholas. He'll come out and get him. And expect the new pitcher to be Bo Hofstra. We'll have more on him when we come back. We'll have a brief break. In the meantime, you're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. It's hoping Bo Hofstra's the remedy here in the top of the 8th inning. 2 runners on, nobody out, as Kyle Nicholas's day is done. It's the first look we'll get at Bo Hofstra since he came out on June 23rd. He only faced 1 batter, had a little bit of arm tightness. Fortunately, he was okay, more precautionary. He came out, took about a week to make sure he was all good, and now he's back. He's making his 5th appearance. He's 1-0 with a 2.07 ERA in 4 1/3 innings. He struck out 6. The big right-hander from Purdue stands at 6'5", 240 pounds. Another guy that can pump it into the mid-90s. He gets Mitch McIntyre. He pops one up. Looks like it'll be out of play, foul. McIntyre from BYU.
We haven't seen Hofstra in a while, Aram, and it's good to see him back because there was some concern about his health after the last time that he exited, but he's well rested.
A big addition to this bullpen that's been struggling. We thought it would be a strength earlier in the season. Bo Hofstra was a big part of that. Now he's way ahead 0-2 to Mitch McIntyre. McIntyre was a football player also in high school. Lettered all 4 years. 0-2 spoiled away, out of play.
And it's really good that Casey Schmidt hit that 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th because McIntyre would have been representing the tying run at the plate. His bullpen has struggled a little bit with control this afternoon. Zach McCambley didn't walk a batter in 5 innings of 1-run ball, but now 4 different walks issued by Chris Holcomb and Kyle Nicholas.
0-2 misses in the dirt, 1-2. And Bo Hofstra's only walked 1 batter so far in his 4 1/3 innings. So we've been saying so frequently in this ball game, walks are the only way you can really start to hurt yourself when you're up 5 runs like the Kettleers are. The ball hits McIntyre right on the hand. We'll see what the call is. And Cuckram's going to look at his hand and then give him first base.
The Kettleers have got to find a way to sort things out and finish up this game. You got a 5-run lead, but the problem is here you got bases loaded and nobody out for Hyannis, and they are very much within striking distance with 1 swing of the bat. 4 different walks and 2 different hit batsmen from Kettleer pitchers over the last few innings.
Haven't seen that in a while. I don't know if I've ever seen a college or professional umpire actually ask to look at the player's hand. Usually they make their call and they stick with it. Cuckram going off of the mark on McIntyre's hand. Now a swing and a miss from Hunter Goodman. So his bases loaded, nobody out now. A pair of walks from Kyle Nicholas. He saw his day end. Bo Hofstra comes in, gets ahead 0-2, and then hits Mitch McIntyre on the hand in a 1-2 count. Now he spins a curveball that misses low. It's 1-1. Brooks Carlson waits on deck. He flicked a home run over the right field wall in the 7th inning. Hunter Goodman still looking for his first hit of the ball game. He crushes one off of Casey Schmidt, and it kicks in the air and into the left field. That'll score 1, and it'll score 2 as Lucas Dunn comes around also, and it's 8-5 now. Hyannis sneaking back into this ball game, and Casey Schmidt is in a little bit of pain over there. It was a line shot that short hopped him, hit him right in the leg, and kicked into shallow left field.
That'll probably be scored as a hit.
That's a hit all the way, I believe.
I mean, it's got to be. It was a hard hit ball. It's a hard play for Schmidt to make, especially with him playing in. But Hyannis is still back in this game. They're only down by 3 with 2 on and nobody out.
First pitch curveball called strike. And Casey Schmidt still hunched over in a little bit of pain. Maybe a little bit of frustration as well. He was playing in on the grass there a little bit. Didn't have much time to react. That's why they call it the hot corner. So first and second still nobody out, and the tying run is at the plate. It's Hunter Goodman. Or Brooks Carlson, rather. Goodman drove in the 2 runs on that single. Now Hunter Goodman, a reminder, homered in his last at-bat. He's a tying run at the plate here. The 1-1. Fastball just misses off the plate away, 2-1. So that's 3 RBIs in the ball game for Hunter Goodman. He had a sac fly in the second. Now drove in 2 there on that line drive off the third baseman, Casey Schmidt. Now Bo Hofstra behind 2-1 to the 8-hitter, Brooks Carlson. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses low, 3-1. So Kettleers' bullpen is struggling late in this ball game. Now 7:45 here. We had a 5 o'clock start. This game is slowed down mightily. And the sun's beginning to set. The 3-1 pitch. Fastball misses up and out. Bases are loaded here. Still none out. And the tying run's on first base. So it's that 9-hitter, Chad McDaniel. He doubled in the 5th. He lined out in the 7th. He's had a pair of good at-bats so far today. And he's looking to tie this ball game up. An extra base hit could score 3 and clear the bases and tie this ball game up. Still none out. First pitch misses up and in. Hofstra can't find the strike zone.
Kettleers have a little bit of activity in the bullpen. Looks like a right-hander is getting loose. And Matt Mervis also getting loose, another right-hander. They're trying to get ready as quick as possible.
1-0 count. Fastball outside corner. This time it's a strike. Matt Mervis went 3 innings yesterday. Coach going back to him possibly in this ball game. One thing he does do is throw a lot of strikes. We'll see who he goes to or if Hofstra can get out of this jam in the 8th. Bends a curveball low, 2-1. Bases loaded. Hyannis has already added 2 runs in this inning. Looking to add more. Still none out. And Hofstra misses low. Just below the knees, and it's 3-1.
Got to get a strike if you're Bo Hofstra. There's nowhere to hide with the bases loaded and still nobody out.
Absolutely, Sam. Nowhere to put him. Bases loaded. Got to come into him here. 3-1. McDaniel sitting dead red on a fastball. The 3-1 pitch. It's lifted out into shallow right field. Coming in is Shavers. He lays out and doesn't make the catch. It gets by him. That'll score 1. We'll see if another one comes around third. He is coming around, and he will score as well. It's now 8-7. As Mitch McIntyre and Hunter Goodman score.
Scored as a hit. That's the official scoring. Shavers tried to lay out for it and right, but just wasn't able to make the play. A weird sinking fly ball into right, and what do you know? It's Chad McDaniel who comes up with a 2-run scoring double to make it a 1-run game, and there is still nobody out here in this 8th inning.
And Shavers going all out there trying to lay out for that ball. A risky proposition with the bases loaded and nobody out. It came back to bite him. The ball squirted past him down into right field. And Shavers is jogging in, playing real shallow as he retreats and goes back out. Not sure if he had a miscommunication with Coach Roberts, but 2-run score on that double from Chad McDaniel is second of the game. And all of a sudden it's 8-7. And Hyannis has a go-ahead run on second base with nobody out. Hofstra spikes a curveball. He's behind 1-0. You got to expect the Kettleers bullpen starting to ramp it up over there. Trying to get somebody loose as it's Hofstra's first outing since he was a little bit hobbled with that rough, tight right arm. You wonder if that's playing a little bit of a factor. So it's 1-0, 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out, and a ground ball back up the middle. Laying out is Nick Gonzalez, making a spectacular grab and throws it on over to first to save 2 runs.
That was a great play by Gonzalez. What a sellout effort to keep that one in the infield. Then look back the lead runner at third base in Carlson and make the play calmly over to first. Well done with the infield playing in. It looks like Mike Roberts will keep him in with just 1 out and both runners still in scoring position.
So a big out for Bo Hofstra, but he still needs another. A fly ball would tie this ball game up. A base hit could give Hyannis the lead. Fouled straight back, a curveball. Strike 1. Hyannis led this ball game 1-0. The Kettleers put up 6 unanswered. And since then, they've climbed back to an 8-7 ball game, still 1 out. He fouls another one back and into the parking lot. Bo Hofstra way ahead, 0-2 now. On deck is Trevor Hoffer. So Hofstra needs the strikeout. Hyannis needs a ball in play. Here's the 0-2 pitch and misses up and out. Rowdy Jordan in this ball game, he's 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Hofstra trying to make it 3. Jordan trying to pick up his first RBI of this game and tie it up. The 1-2 pitch misses in the dirt, blocked by Pasek. That'll keep the runner at third. So McDaniel on third, he doubled. Brooks Carlson on second, he walked. And it's now 2-2 to Rowdy Jordan, the center fielder. The 2-2 pitch. He lays off a curveball just barely, and it's full. First base is open, but Hoffer, the 3-hitter, looms on deck.
I gotta imagine if Hofstra walks him here, this is the last batter he faces.
You'd figure, especially with the struggles that both him and Nicholas have had throwing strikes. The payoff pitch. Lifted out into shallow left field. Tagging is Carlson. And the throw from Hill comes into home. And it won't get there in time as Hyannis ties it up on a sacrifice fly. Just like that, it's 8-8.
A lot of credit to Hyannis to get back into this ball game. The Kettleers are up 6-1. And before the Casey Schmidt home run, they put up a couple unanswered, and Kettleers are lucky to have that lead with the home run. Otherwise, Hyannis would have taken the lead, but they've come back from the dead to score 5 here in the 8th and tie it up at 8.
And they're not done yet as Trevor Hoffer comes to the plate, the 3-hitter. He lifts one out into left field. Cam Hill should have a chance at this. He camps under it and makes the grab, but not before Hyannis ties this ball game up with a 5-run 8th inning. They send 9 batters to the plate. And we'll go into the bottom of the 8th, all knotted up, a new ball game here at Lowell Park. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. At Lowell Park after Hyannis scores 5 unanswered to tie it up at 8-8. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Tyler Drabick, the new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks. Faces a switch hitting Arajanu from the left side, who swings through a changeup, strike one. Drabick from Kent State. He's a redshirt junior from North Canton, Ohio. Not too far from the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, that is.
Mm-hmm.
The 0-1 pitch, another changeup, doubles up on him, and he swings through it. Anu's struggled to hit that off-speed pitch in his last 10 ball games. Has just the one hit. We know he can hit the fastball, but not really having much success waiting back on the off-speed. See what he gets here, 0-2. It's a fastball he crushes, but it's foul and way into the trees down the right field line. So Anu is 0 for 3 with a trio of flyouts to left field. He tries to stay alive, 0-2, and he crushes one out into right field. Back is McIntyre, and he'll watch it sail out of here. Arajanu gives the Kettleers a lead with a solo blast out to right field, and that's got to feel good if you're Araj.
Arajanu comes up late. Wow, way to give the Kettleers the lead back. Great response and a big smile for Mike Roberts in the third base coaching box. He's been giving Araj plenty of opportunities, and he sat back there with 2 strikes, clobbered that ball to keep the Kettleers intact.
And that's Anu's just his second hit in his last 29 at-bats. About 385 feet out there to right field. So Mason McWhorter comes to the plate, trying to pile on, add some more runs to this Kettleers' newfound lead. Pitch to McWhorter's lifted out into center field. This one will stay in the yard. Calling is Hauver, and he'll make the grab for the first out of the inning. And that brings up Parker Shavers, who struck with a 3-run shot out to deep right field, halfway up the trees. Back in the 4th inning, part of a 4-run 4th inning for the Kettleers that gave them a 6-run lead. They eventually just squandered that, but recaptured the lead now with the Arajanu solo shot. They'll try and add more. First pitch to Shavers is nubbed out to the third baseman, DeSantolo. He flips it over to first base and gets the out. So after the home run, Drabick's been able to settle back in and get 2 quick outs. And will now face Cam Hill with 2 away in the bottom of the 8th.
One of my favorite parts after that last Araj home run, other than Coach Roberts with a big smile, was seeing Cam Hill and Colton Kessler, Anu's 2 Kentucky teammates, coming out of the dugout, the first ones to greet him after that blast.
Curveball up and in. Raises his hands out of the way to Cam Hill. And Colton Kessler, his other Kentucky teammates, waiting to come back after a bone bruise on his knee. It's nice to have 3 Kentucky Wildcats. You can see how close they are. And they're probably excited to hopefully have Araj on campus this spring.
Yeah, Colton's in the street clothes right now, but he's got the black UK shirt on.
Cody Pasek's done a good job in relief as the catcher. Of course, Kessler's been the starter most of the year. Hill spoils a fastball out towards the batting cages behind the third base grandstand. It's 1-2. Hill's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts in this game. The speedster's yet to reach base. The 1-2 pitch. Grounded out by second base. Have to be quick to get Hill, and he is. He flips it over to the first baseman Carlson for the 3rd out, but not before Arajanu hits a solo shot and gives the Kettleers the lead. They're 3 outs away from locking down this wild win. We'll see who comes on to close this ball game out. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. It's been a wild one at Lowell Park. Just 3 outs to go for the Kettleers to lock down this victory. It's been a roller coaster of a ball game. Saw Hyannis take an early 1-0 lead. Cotuit scored 6 unanswered. Eventually led 8-3 before Hyannis tied it up in the 8th. And Cotuit took one more lead here in the bottom of the 8th with a solo shot off of the bat of Arajanu. They now lead 9-8, and Bo Hofstra's back out trying to nail down his first save of the summer. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. 0-2 to Jared DeSantolo. DeSantolo's 1 for 2 with a pair of walks and a single. He scored twice today. On deck is Lucas Dunn, then Mitch McIntyre. Hofstra way ahead. The 0-2 pitch misses down in the dirt. Changeup that he spiked. It's 1-2.
This is all about mental toughness for the Kettleers. Number one, the response to get back in the lead with a home run at the plate to break out of a big slump. That's an individual mentally tough moment. And now Bo Hofstra.
1-2 misses up and out. 2-2.
The question is, can he rebound and can this team rebound and cap off a game in which it looked like they blew for a moment back in the 8th?
The 2-2 pitch misses away. 3-2. And Hofstra struggled to stay in the strike zone. We'll see if Coach Roberts has him on a short leash here in the 9th. Only 1 run to spare. 9-8 in favor of the Kettleers. Top of the 9th inning. The 3-2 pitch lifted foul and out of play. We'll do 3-2 again. Hofstra out of the windup. The payoff pitch. Spoiled away. We'll do the payoff pitch a third time. As it starts to get dark here at Lowell Park, this is likely the last inning. We saw a tie after 9 earlier, just about a week ago. Extra innings hard to come by at Lowell Park with the 5 o'clock start time and no lights. The 3-2 pitch again. Grounded into the hole and past Oviedo for a base hit. DeSantolo leads things off with a base hit. And Hyannis is still alive. They have a pulse here in the top of the 9th.
Hyannis has out-hit Cotuit 10-6. The home runs have really helped the Kettleers. 3-run shot by Chavers, 2-run shot by Schmidt, and then the solo shot to get the lead back by Anu. But Hyannis has stayed with it at the plate. 1 run in the 6th, 1 run in the 7th, and of course the big 5-run 8th. They have hung around pretty quietly, and now they're in a position to maybe come back again.
First pitch swinging. Swings right through it. Does Lucas Dunn. 0-1. Bo Hofstra gets ahead. Middle of the infield plays double play depth. Casey Schmidt playing in on the grass in case there's a bunt. Dunn was swinging away on the first pitch. We'll see what he does behind 0-1. Didn't square that time. A curveball bends into the strike zone. 0-2. Mitch McIntyre waits on deck. Lucas Dunn has a pair of singles in this ball game. He was hit by a pitch in the 6th. Hofstra ahead 0-2 out of the set. Takes a long look, kicks and deals. Ground ball up the middle. This could be 2. Oviedo takes it himself, throws it on over to first. An unassisted double play. 2 big outs here in the 9th inning for the Kettleers. Just 1 more out to lock down the win.
Good play by Adam Oviedo. He was able to play that on a tricky skip off the mound, and was able to concentrate and shuffle over to second himself and turn the double play.
Second double play of the ball game for the Kettleers, and comes at the most opportune time possible. Now back to bases empty for Bo Hofstra, and the Kettleers just need 1 more out. He spins a curveball for strike 1. A good job by Bo Hofstra to induce that ground ball up the middle. Get the big double play. Now he's ahead 0-1 to Mitch McIntyre. Misses inside 1-1. McIntyre was hit by a pitch in the 8th inning. It's part of that 5-run 8th to tie the ball game up. The 1-1 pitch. Got him swinging on a changeup. A nice pitch by Bo Hofstra. Now the Kettleers are one strike away. The crowd at Lowell Park on their feet, cheering on Bo Hofstra and the Kettleers to get the last out of this wild ball game. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. The Kettleers get the win. Bo Hofstra strikes out Mitch McIntyre, and they hold on 9-8 in a wild ball game here at Lowell Park. Hofstra nails down the save, and that's the 8th win of the season for the Kettleers.
Well, it was a little greasy, not quite the way that they wanted it in the end, not squeaky clean, and it required a comeback and a home run from Mirage Anu, but the Kettleers are able to find a way to get it done today. Long ball plays a big part at the plate, and the pitching was able to cap it off when they needed it most, despite a lot of walks and a bumpy ride out of the bullpen.
And they all count the same in the win column. So the Kettleers will take it after a tough loss yesterday, 1-0 at Wareham. They bounce back. Now within a half game, if Wareham ends up losing and the score holds over at Bourne, it was 4-2 last time we took a look in favor of Bourne. You got a big week ahead. You mentioned earlier, Sam, a lot of Western Division opponents coming up, a big chance to separate themselves. And we got the 4th of July coming up, a really exciting day filled with parades, hitting competitions, and a big ball game. But we'll recap this game first. Back and forth all game long. It was Hyannis that actually took the lead initially, 1-0. The Kettleers scored 6 unanswered, eventually led 8-3. Kyle Nicholas came on in the 8th. He actually pitched a scoreless 7th, came back out for the 8th, struggled, walked a pair, and then he went to Bo Hofstra, who walked a couple more. Eventually, Hyannis would be able to scrape for 5 runs and tie up the ball game at 8. Felt like the momentum really shifted there, and the Kettleers might be in trouble, but that was when Araj Anu in the 9th inning was able to hit a solo shot. His second hit in his last 30 at-bats. Couldn't have come at a better time for the Kettleers. He gives them the lead, and Bo Hofstra was able to settle back down in the 9th inning and close down the save. It's been a wild one. It's hard to forget that Zach McCambly turned in a great start. 5 scoreless innings. He was really good. But 17 runs later between the two teams, it kind of buries Zach McCambly's fantastic start. What impressed you the most from Zach McCambly, if you can even remember? It feels like a lifetime ago. And his start today, he didn't have his best stuff. He was able to battle despite not being able to locate that off speed, and eventually was able to keep the Hyannis hitters in check while he was on the mound.
Yeah, he was able to stay out of walking guys, and that was a big thing. He didn't walk anybody. Scattered around the 5 hits, gave up the RBI sac fly in the 2nd. It wasn't a sexy pitching performance, but he was able to get the job done. I love how he wasn't walking anybody, which eventually became an Achilles heel later in the game. But the control was there by the end when he needed it with his fastball. Off-speed stuff wasn't quite in the zone today, but he'll work on that with pitching coach Josh Spence, and that's Coach Spence's specialty. So I really liked how McCambly was able to stay mentally tough in a lot of 3-ball counts and not let anything spill over the edge.
5 walks between the 6th and 8th inning for the relievers on the Kettleers. That really engineered a big comeback for Hyannis. That made things difficult for the pitching staff, and Bo Hofstra, who inherited a tough situation, was able to battle back and nail down the save. In terms of the Cotuit offense, a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of everyone kind of contributing in their own ways. Not Nick Gonzalez's best day at the plate. He did walk and score, kept that on-base streak alive. To 17, he extends it. Casey Schmidt led the way for this Cotuit offense, had a 2-run shot as well as a double that scored 1 in the 5th. Dante Williams walked and scored, also added a single. Araj Anu, of course, his only hit of the game, coming at the most important time, a bottom of the 8th inning solo shot to give the Kettleers a lead and eventually have them hold on to that. And then Mason McCorder had a single and an RBI, but Parker Shavers, of course, too. 3-run moonshot to right field that he golfed over the Hyannis bullpen, and nice to see him get going. A couple of guys that hit home runs today. I'd say a trio of guys that were struggling coming into this game in the last 10 days or so, all homered, and have to feel good coming in to the next busy week we have coming up.
Yeah, that's how the Kettleers offense lives and breathes, right? It's the home runs, and Parker Shavers was on a little bit of a cold streak, and he got a hold of a ball. Casey Schmidt has been pretty feast or famine at the plate. He also had that RBI double today, finished up 2 for 4 with 3 ribbies and a couple of runs scored. And then Araj Anu is the big standout for this game. You just look over at the Kettleers huddle at the end of the game, and all the guys are going over and giving him a big hug. Matt Moore included, who we know is one of the nicest guys on this club. And it's really good to see everybody picking up a Raj when he makes a big play. And it's really good to see him get back to form. Hopefully it spurs a little bit of confidence for him at the plate, and he can keep on swinging it, because the Kettleers need a guy like him to supply some power in the middle of the order.
And a big win for the Kettleers, and a game where nothing's guaranteed here in the Cape Cod League, especially with Hyannis coming in. They started 0-8-1, but they battled back. In their last 6 games, they were 3-3. Starting to play a little bit of better baseball, picked up a couple reinforcements. And this was a different batting order. We hadn't seen a batting order like this with Dante Williams in the 3-hole, Arajanu staying in the 4-hole, but Casey Schmidt in the 2 spot. It was a little bit different, and the Kettleers offense was good today, continuing to struggle with piling together a lot of hits and stringing them together, still living and dying by the long ball. Is that something you think they can sustain, or is this something that they need to adjust with at the plate?
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to hit for contact a little bit more, but I do believe that this gives the team a little bit of a spark moving forward. The offense is still middle of the pack in terms of getting on base. You got a lot of guys that know how to work a walk, and we'll see how that all ends up going out. But, I think that at the end of the day, this is a Hyannis team also. It's worth noting that you applaud their fight, you applaud their comeback, and let's not write them off. I think Bourne's got some work to do. Falmouth has got some work to do, so we can't write off Hyannis for being that guaranteed team to miss the playoffs in the West, and they definitely showed that today. And you just love the mental toughness from the Kettleers to get back off the mat after a disastrous showing for a second there in the 8th inning, but to come back and make the most of the next pitch, and that's what Arajanu and the Kettleers did.
And you mentioned Bourne and Falmouth. That is who the Kettleers will play next, respectively. Bourne tomorrow at home, a 5 o'clock first pitch, and then at Falmouth on Wednesday, 6 o'clock first pitch will be coming at you at Falmouth from Mixler 15 minutes before first pitch. And tomorrow, of course, you can get us on Mixler or on YouTube, whichever way you prefer. And then on the July 4th game on Thursday will be against Falmouth here as well. We'll have an 11 o'clock parade starting that'll go through all of Cotuit, feed into Lowell Park. We'll have a hitting competition, a lot of fun stuff for the kids to do, a family fun day. Should be a beautiful day. The weather looks like it's going to be great finally in the Cape Cod situation here we've had. It's really nice to have this big week, this 4th of July weekend with some good weather. This is my first 4th of July here at Lowell Park. You were here the 4th of July week last year, Sam. What can you tell people to expect, and how fun was it for you?
It's going to be fun. I mean, it's like I've said a couple of times, it's an Americana event. Everybody just forgets everything and puts all their worries in the rearview mirror and comes out and has a great time. This village comes together, celebrates our great nation, and brings out a lot of red, white, and blue. The parade is a spectacle. Everybody is into it. It's loud. It's fun. It's energetic. It pops. And then there's just this big swarm that funnels into Lowell Park for Family Fun Day. And we'll have so many fun events for the family. The hitting contest as a headliner. The slip and slide will probably be back. Face painting. The dunk tank with Coach Roberts. And I believe some of the players as well. It's just a really good community event. And it's a great way to celebrate our nation's birthday.
And we're final here at Lowell Park, a roller coaster of a ball game, but the Kettleers are eventually able to hold on 8-7. Bo Hofstra picks up the win and the save for the Kettleers. The loss going to Drabick of Hyannis. So be with us tomorrow. We're right back here at 5 o'clock against Bourne. 4:45, we will be live. For my partner, Sam Niederman, I'm Aram Layton. Thank you for listening to us. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you have a great 4th of July weekend, and hope you spend it with us, as we'll be coming at you with live baseball all week long. Thank you for listening. Have a good remainder of your evening.